And
So, no,
hello, true believers. It is I, the evil black cat. With E missing, maybe we're going to have a better show tonight. And to help me, it's the man that was the third wheel of Adam and Eve at the Garden of Eden, Eric Back Issues Breen. Also, Mr. I can finally swallow so I don't have to spit anymore, LK.
hello, everybody.
And the real Dr. Venkman. Vegan substitutes on offer at your nearest IHOP. So, what's tonight's activities?
Well, I don't
Well,
know. I
the
mean,
first thing I thought would grab my rifle. I'm going to start hunting this little cat right here.
If I think
careful, man.
now I expect age jokes that comes with the territory, but if I'm the one that was just told that now I can swallow, I'm more upset than you.
Well, as having this weird throat problem, I think I'm finally going to break down and go to the doctor this week if it's not clearing up in the next day or so. But yeah, it's from what I've read. I mean, it's kind of stress related, or just if you put stress on the vocal cords, kind of thing. So it's weird where I'll kind of like feel fine during the day, but then if I've been out active or talking a lot later in the day, in the evening, it starts getting sore, and I'm feeling like trying to swallow a small marble or something. So it's been fun. But yeah, but
Offer a little advice.
yeah. So otherwise, I mean, this was a pretty just quiet, chill Sunday. Nothing much going on, right?
I'll say, yeah, I don't know if this would help, but maybe you should start swallowing large marbles.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, just a really chill Sunday. I mean, watched Xander Schauffele win the Open.
Good thing that was the British Open, because how pissed would golf fans have been? We interrupt the end of this tournament to tell you something that you all knew was coming.
Well, so what was so funny for me again is similar to the Trump thing from a Saturday plus ago. I went out to go run some errands, and I left a little after 12, and stopped off at my parents, dropped a couple things off them, check on my dad, see how he was doing. He had the Giants game on. It just started, and I hopped back in my car. I was listening to podcasts. It wasn't until I got home and started doing some stuff in the garage and was, looking for something to put on, a YouTube video or something, and saw, video saying like, Harris has a nomination. I'm like, what? And, like, okay, well, is this official? And then, sure enough, and I'm like, okay, where's the press conference? And then, of course, we've seen everything else. I'm definitely on hashtag Team Proof of Life, because I put nothing past Democrats and their search for power. But yeah, we are living in interesting times indeed. And just in time for San Diego Comic-Con too.
all you Californians out there, get ready to celebrate your governor as the next president of the United States.
Not a chance.
I hope not, but it is interesting. I know the news is reporting that he was supposed to address a Ninth Circuit judicial conference tomorrow, and he canceled that, and supposedly he's canceled his plans for the next 2 to 3 days. So who knows exactly what Newsom's doing. I can tell you that he will not be the vice presidential nominee. I mean, for a couple of reasons.
I can also tell you.
I believe that he doesn't, that he and Harris don't see eye to eye. And B, there's the whole thing about having both nominees from the same state, because of kind of the way the nomination rule or the rules work in the Electoral College. So
I can tell you right now that Joe Biden legally cannot step down at all, but he's already been nominated as a thing.
No, you
Oh,
can't.
well,
The reason why,
no, because individual states, Wisconsin, he's already passed the time limit, so he's already breaking the law.
I'll just say this: the law is somewhat ambiguous there. Plus, B, you have a very partisan Wisconsin Supreme Court that is 4-3 or 5-4 Democrat, and since they already overturned the Dropbox laws that the previous Wisconsin Supreme Court had declared, pretty much that Supreme Court's going to rubber stamp whatever the Democrats want. So the Wisconsin piece is, I think, null and void. It's not going to matter. The other ones, again, I think are ambiguous enough. I think that's a very, very small hill to try and die on to, say that, Harris, isn't going to be on the ballot. I just think that some of the palace intrigue, it's interesting in that it appears that Kamala is getting the coronation because you've had two of the big money men, Reid Hoffman and Soros Jr., both come out saying they support Kamala. You've had Newsom come out to say he supports Kamala. Shapiro of Pennsylvania did. You've had probably about a dozen senators so far. So you've had the various pieces lining up, except for Obama. So you have to wonder what Obama's play in all this, what he's trying to do, why he hasn't come out.
none of what's happened so far means anything when it comes to this party. They write the rules as they go along.
Yeah.
As far as vice presidents, should this come to terms, so to speak, it's going to be Josh Shapiro because they've got to win Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. Well, Gretchen Whitmer.
Well, I mean, what's funny though is, I mean, you've actually had people on CNN say that Shapiro's not a good idea because he's Jewish, and that they're insinuating that putting Shapiro on the ballot will lose Michigan because the Arab voters won't vote for Shapiro.
Maybe they won't.
Which is absolutely a riot when you think about how often Democrats scream racism at Republicans. When once again we see that it's Democrats that are the true racists.
It's such a shame when the identity politics coalition starts to fracture. But like I said, nobody from California. They win California if the leader of ISIS were running with Kamala.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it really does, especially if Trump can peel off a couple of these. Toss-up states, they've got to win. They've got to win. I think that's why J.D. Vance was picked by Trump, so he could go to those states and campaign. But I said Whitmer. I maybe I'm being naive, but the fact that she's the way she handled Michigan during COVID, I think I think her election was about as fair as Kim Jong-un's. The kidnapping has been completely exposed. Hell, there was a guy on X yesterday, basically confessing to all of it. And I said, so I don't think it can be her. And they've already got the black woman, unless Michelle decides to run, then she'll go back to being West Indian.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Shapiro.
Yeah. We'll see.
Wait a second. Vegman wants to talk about an obscure kung fu movie from 1974.
Oh, well, no, I was going to ask.
I want to talk about something that's not politics.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you about Twisters. How did you enjoy that, or did you enjoy it?
Twisters was awesome.
Yeah.
And it is not a sequel. It's a standalone film. It is nowhere tied to the first movie whatsoever. They do give a nod though to the Dorothy thing, and that's in the very beginning. But other than that, like I said, it was a very fun movie. And it was not like all men are stupid, whatever, pro woman. It actually was fun. It is a popcorn movie. The only there was one thing for those of you who can kind of basically roll your eyes at is when they at the tornado suddenly at their rodeo, there's a tornado that pops up and nobody there gets an alert until like 3 minutes before it hits. Which I'm like, if it was 1996, sure.
Yeah.
Now there's a 13-minute window at least they give you. The technology. But, so that was kind of unbelievable. But other than that, though, it was fun.
Yeah. See, I'm heartened by the fact that it shows that people still want just, if you give them a competent, fun popcorn movie, people will go see it. I haven't seen it yet. I'm hoping maybe I'll feel good enough to obviously want to go to the movies next weekend to see.
Now, I will say this though, the first movie is a lot more fun because you guys Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Being kind of crazy on there. The music choices, you had Van Halen stuff. This was country music.
Yeah.
I was just like, it's okay. But I mean, it was Glenn Powell is quickly becoming the next Tom Cruise.
Okay. I actually heard somebody say that he's becoming the next Matthew McConaughey, but
he could be either one of them.
Yeah, either or. Whoa.
Yeah, I turn my camera on.
There. There we go. From what I've heard, it's just a fun, competent popcorn action movie with zero politics in it, and shocker, it's made 130 million worldwide in its opening week in the box office.
Speaking of why, because it's pretty much a tornado movie. Right now we're in tornado season, and the last time we had a movie was Into the Storm. Was the last, I guess, somewhat decent quality, with the kids in high school. But there really hasn't been that many tornado movies. I only know, I think I wouldn't call it Geostorm being, that at all. But I mean, like, it's kind of like a throwback to basically, remember we had all the disaster movies, The Day After Tomorrow, and like, 2012. It's like,
not just.
It's nice. It's nice to see this,
Yeah.
It was written like a 90s movie too.
Yeah. Well, and again, I go back to when the first one came out. I think that was 95, 96?
93, wasn't it?
96.
Oh, it was 96?
96. Okay, yeah. So, again, same year that you had Independence Day. I think, what else? But I mean, you had a whole series. I mean, back then, you had the fun, dumb action movies, and everybody flocked to the theaters to go see them.
Honestly, that's all you need to go in there. Like, the thing about the Bill Paxton movie is I love Bill Paxton. He's really cool. But it was just like, and we've got cows. Say what again? We've got cows. Now, like the most stupidest thing ever. Like, and like them driving to the house in the first movie. Like the movie that had the better soundtrack. You had Van Halen, Human Being, and all that stuff. This one, like I said, was catered more to like country. He's blasting country music as he's got the cowboy hat on. He's firing fireworks into the tornado. It's just a feel-good, fun movie.
Not everything needs to have a message.
It's a slow romance. That's basically what it is.
Movie. Yeah. Not everything needs to have a message. Again,
it easily could have done though.
Well, and it sounds too though like it was competently made, that there weren't a lot of stupid scenes. So again, that's been the other thing that's been plaguing a lot of these franchise movies. Like, I'm sorry, I could not go and see. Well, after watching the second Jurassic World movie, I was so out on that franchise because they were just so stupidly written that there was zero enjoyment for me in those movies. When it should be a slam dunk in terms of, okay, dinosaurs running amok and humans having to deal with it, go. And
I didn't watch the last one, but I like Jurassic Park, and after that is like the Lost World. It's okay, but then it is. Yeah, I agree. They got dumber and dumber, pretty much. The Chris Pratt, the first Jurassic World was all right.
The first Chris Pratt movie was fine. It was that second one with the whole subplot of the clone and just how stupid it was. And that was the problem. And to coincide talking about stupidity, I did watch the last episode of The Acolyte so I could see it in person myself. I'd watched the first episode. I basically watched reviews of the other episodes in between because I was not going to subject myself to watching the show. But Gary was having a watch along. Is like, okay, I'm bored. I can do this. And yeah, it was definitely a show you needed to watch with somebody else because it was so ludicrously stupid.
Well, I can tell this much I would not watch it at all.
Well, and the biggest problem with it is Star Wars has always been about good and evil. And at the end here, you have nothing but evil people. And especially the characters that, quote unquote, I guess we're supposed to, as an audience, relate to. And she kills the one decent Jedi in the bunch, although by the end of the series he was rendered so stupid and an idiot that you were happy to see him get choked out.
I will just say this. I saw one still image where her lightsaber was blue and red.
Oh yeah.
I said, why would anybody watch Star Wars after Jar Jar Binks? And I said, and your guys are surprised it gets stupider and stupider? We saw the movie Idiocracy. Where do you think we're headed?
It actually improved a little bit after Jar Jar Binks, and a lot more.
Sorry, it did not.
I will raise you Natalie Portman and the Rip T-shirt.
Yeah, the prequels are fine. It all went downhill when Disney bought it.
It went downhill after they were outshined by Spaceballs.
Yeah, but I mean the whole thing is, strip out all the woke stuff, message or whatever. It was so poorly written. The dialogue is so bad. Basic story decisions were so poorly done. Where again, you could have written a really interesting story that is a murder mystery, that could be as well as a political intrigue story, without making the Jedi's bad guys, without making the Jedi's incompetent. There's just basic, simple story choices that they made that are just mind-boggling. I mean, things to the point of when we get the flashback in episode 7, that is a flashback of episode 3. That's we learn that the Jedi party went out to this world to investigate it, and they were out there for 7 weeks, and they were basically like taking soil samples, and there's dialogue in there where essentially the Padawan is questioning, well, why are we out here when anybody who knows anything in terms of either like military or just regular expedition, what's the first thing you have? You've got a briefing meeting to say, hey, we are going to this planet. This is what we're doing. This is what we're looking for. So here's the schedule. This is what we're going to excavate. This is what we're going to explore. And instead you would have these stupid scenes around the campfire where it was like, oh, why are we out here? I want to go home. And it's just like, oh my God, who wrote this? It's so bad. And that's the biggest problem is they have just hired incompetent after incompetent, unqualified, unskilled people, one after the other.
That being, send a super chat so we can talk about something else.
Oh, look who showed up.
Oh.
Hey,
Yeah.
How's it going?
Well,
Hey
it was better, but now it's loud and screechy.
Yeah. I I had a day.
Hmm.
I was having lunch, and I choked. I just everything went down, and I tried to swallow, get soda in there, and it just filled the mouth up. I couldn't get air in, so I kind of slammed myself. I've got freaking sore ribs because I slammed the chest down like this, and ever since then, just had a migraine. And
Did you go to the hospital?
No, I was rubbing
Wow.
my neck, and it feels like I just jarred something. I was able to pop it, and
Well, you could have bruised ribs now.
Yeah, which if I went to the hospital, they'll say they can't do much for me, and I'm just gonna have to, take the pain when I breathe. They're not going to be able to do anything for bruised ribs, but also something got out of alignment, and when I popped my neck again, the headache started going a little okay, but it's still there. It's just not as bad. So that's a lot of fun. So I had a day.
Well, there might be a reason why you choke. You never know. It might be a medical reason. I had that where I choked on something. It turns out I actually had a lot of acid building up, and it was going into my actual food pipe. It swelled up.
Yeah. I didn't have anything like that. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I should get checked out.
You never know.
That is not fun. Then again, I think that was around 10 o'clock in the morning, and it was just hurting. And when Gail came home, we got a pizza, and I ate something. I slept. I feel better. I feel still headachy and shit. And when I turn my head the wrong way, it hurts so bad. Yeah,
that's great now, but you could have done the overlays.
Yeah, I kind of figured. I thought about that. I said no. I left him a thumbnail because I saw it just now.
Get back to
Eric's
me when you choked at least twice.
Right. And then I thought, wait, did I leave the overlays? I don't remember those. I guess not.
Yeah, from yesterday's or the Fridays.
Right.
So with Sunday Comic-Con or San Diego Comic-Con coming up, is there any announcements that you want to hear? Anything that has intrigued you that you've heard about that you're
I want to hear Mark Wade complain about no one showing at his table because he's such a prick.
I would love to hear Marvel and DC says, you know what? We've looked it over. OGCG was right. We're getting rid of the T. Franklins, but beyond that, no, nothing.
I would rather just say you can't show up at San Diego Comic-Con unless you're wearing a mask.
These days, everything I'm excited about in comics has already been produced.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I think that one level of people have been slowly self-deleting themselves out of the big two. I don't know of any upcoming T. Franklin projects, for example, with Marvel or DC. I don't believe Mags of Saggio has anything. I don't believe DI has anything. I haven't seen Danny Lore's name on anything.
Hopefully that's the way it's going to be.
Social media posts, begging for money for rent and things like that. So, unfortunately, it's just kind of the same. It's the rest of the Titanic. They're like, dear God, another Stephanie Phillips book. How does this woman have 5 books in a month?
Because she can write a good first 3 issues.
Well, I'm looking at the DC solicits. Detective Comics 1090 is going to be Tom Taylor and Michael Janin.
Yeah. So again, it's a lot of moving the deck chairs around the Titanic. There are a couple of new ones, but then I guess there's some upcoming Iron Man book being written by a guy who writes national security articles for the Atlantic and other news publications. So
I bet you Tony Stark's the bad guy.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting that. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I don't feel like there's much to get excited about with Marvel and DC right now. So and for Marvel Disney right now, it really comes down to Deadpool and Wolverine. I think it will do well. Nothing in the trailers I've seen have made me groan or go, "Oh God, this is not going to go good." It does look like it's got Cassandra, Xavier's sister, in there as possibly the villain or at least one of the bad guys, because there was the
movie people are going to go nuts over the issue I was selling for $2 at the.
If the movie, if Disney Marvel had a sense of humor, Cassandra Nova would be played by Patrick Stewart in drag.
no.
Yeah, but they wouldn't think that's funny. They would just take it serious. Yeah,
if they had a sense of humor.
If you saw the most recent full trailer, though, you'll see there's a scene or two of a bald-headed pops, bops Deadpool on the head, and he like shoots backwards or something. So
you don't? Do you not watch trailers?
Oh no, I don't watch final trailers. I'll watch the first one. Every preview after the first preview, all it has to do is tell me the name and date for comic book movies.
He doesn't want us to spoil the fact that he's in the movie.
Oh no, I knew that part.
Yeah, but like one of the other supporting characters in there is Matthew McFadden. It looks like he's an agent with the TVA. I know most people are going to know him from the recent HBO series Succession, because I guess he was like the dumb brother or dumb son in that one or something like that. I know him from an incredible British spy series that was called MI5 here, and it was called Spooks in the UK. And he was he was one of the main characters in that show. I loved him in that show, and so just him in there gives me hope that this is actually going to be pretty good.
I would have loved to have seen what happened if they called it Spooks here.
That was back in the glory days of BBC America, before BBC America has become what it is. You all right there?
My head is just killing me.
Well, you got a bird chirping so freaking loud.
Oh, I got really mad at him earlier because it was just, and he lands right on my shoulder and just right into the ear, and that did not go over well for me.
Do you have these things called dogs or cats, which are much quieter?
Yeah, I know. I never actually thought I would like a bird. Twiddles was not my pet. Elizabeth wanted a bird and got one, and they said, well, birds could be loud, but Gail's friend, when she was younger, get off the wire, had a couple, but they were never as loud as Twiddles had been, so they didn't know. But Twiddles wasn't my bird. Twiddles was Gail and Elizabeth's. It's just that since I was home all the time, he became my bird. Pistachio, we got him, and he's my bird. As much as I don't want him to be, I don't want the responsibility. I just want to be the uncle. Let me play with the bird and then hand him over, and you got to clean the cage and do all that.
That's disgusting, sir. Phrasing.
What? I don't get that.
You want to be the uncle and play with the bird?
Yeah.
So
like with the kids. Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh,
I was just gonna say, just spoilers galore here, just in case, because I don't care.
Hold on. Wait, for what movie?
No, comic book.
Oh,
which comic book?
Did anybody else read Redcoat #4?
Yeah, we were talking about it last week. Where have you been?
Hold on. Before you go hey Eric, you still there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I left you a message in the DMs. Because there's put the address, and I'm not gonna say the address. I'm not gonna dox it, into Google Maps, and it changed.
Yeah, I told you, said depending on who's saying it, Covington and Latonia are the same thing.
Okay.
They're not, but because they're next to each other, but for mailing purposes and for sometimes for directions.
It's
Sometimes they'll say Latonia, sometimes they'll say
now
Covington.
you know what I've had to deal with.
Yeah.
I tried to send
and-
him one time, and I was like, I called him up. I'm at the post office, like, dude, it's changing it. This is correct. I'm like, well, we'll find out.
all right.
It's okay.
Okay, and I'm just saying I'm not calling you out or anything, so please don't take it that way. But it's in order to help fund this, Mr. RD&V.
Yeah.
Is there any chance? Yeah. Okay.
I
Cool.
can pay tonight.
Cool.
Yeah. I just haven't had a chance.
Awesome.
I've been live streaming all freaking night.
I have not. I've either been sleeping or sleeping adjacent.
I've been there. I choked, dude, and like I slept for like 12 hours.
So what day were you thinking?
Tomorrow we talked about this, but if it's
we talked about tomorrow. You mentioned tomorrow or Thursday.
well, okay. Do you need Thursday or is tomorrow?
Thursday would be better.
Thursday's the day then.
He's packing up his things and leaving.
I think that
I'll be out by
Take
Wednesday.
lots of pictures.
that might actually be good if I wake up and still have the headache and all
No,
that.
no,
kind
no,
of
no, no,
stuff.
no, no. I did not say I choked a dude. I said I choked on a dude. Get it right. Jeez.
Yeah.
He was working briefly for me under the bridge, and he was like, "I'm out." Yeah,
It was a bad experience, but I got paid handsomely.
So I ask you if any of you Midwestern guys went to Cincinnati on Thursday.
I would not go to Cincinnati. No thanks.
What was in Cincinnati on Thursday?
They were filming the Justice League,
Oh,
or filming the Superman movie.
no, I went to what was advertised as a big antique flea market comic show preview, which turned out to be one guy he had nice stuff, but my God, was it overpriced.
They had something in some place. The fuck was it? Kentucky, Indiana, or something weird like that. It was like a weird, like another state, city kind of name. And it was supposed to be a comic show in the mall we were going to go to today, but money said no.
Yeah.
Actually, it said goodbye, and that just meant we couldn't do it.
Yeah. But
that being said, we went to dinner tonight. We got one of those. I guess they're $7 now. Those hot and readies from
Little Caesars.
Little Caesars. Thank you. And I look over and I see in their cooler is pineapple Pepsi. And apparently this is a Little Caesars exclusive. And I was like, okay, I've got to try that. And now I just want to make money so I can buy them out because that's fucking awesome. Pineapple Pepsi's good, man.
Cinnamon Coke is great.
No, Cinnamon Coke was fucking awesome. That was the best soda of all freaking time. So yeah, of course that they weren't actually going to produce it. It was a sad day. That was a sad day when I realized there was no more Cinnamon Coke.
Rhaegar, their pizza tastes like dumpster juice flavored. I have questions about you. How do you know?
I know that's like that means not only were you eating food out of the dumpster, but you actually tilted it.
to be fair to Rhaegar, I've noticed that Little Caesars people either really like it or they really hate it. There doesn't seem to be any in between for that.
I'm an in between. It is.
No,
it
I just
is
said there
cheap.
isn't any.
Okay, it is cheap ass pizza. Okay, I would rather go to any mom and pop's Italian pizza joint. Seriously, before I even go to any chain restaurant. I don't like the Domino's. I don't like Papa John's. Never cooks their fucking pizza all the way through. It's disgusting.
For me, they do. But if you want the experience, go to Rocky Rococo.
Rocket Red Cocoa.
Rocky Rococo.
Rocky Rococo. Okay.
If you're up in, it's a Midwestern thing up here.
Yeah, down in Florida. I don't know if you guys had them, but they had a buffet called Cece's that I liked.
They came here now. I've never been to them, and it just sounds gross.
Same here. I mean, not the gross part, but they have them here. I've never been to one. I don't even know where any are around here. I just know.
We've got a CC's here. I remembered seeing the ads for the buffet. I was like, eventually, I was like, oh, okay. I've always wanted to try this. Went to the buffet. I was underwhelmed.
Really?
Yeah,
You had expectations?
Well, so here's the thing. I mean, there were two pizza places back home, Round Table and Mountain Mike's, that had lunchtime pizza buffets, and so I realized I got spoiled with those buffets.
Yeah.
You just and so this just didn't. I mean, it was okay, but I mean, I didn't think the pizza was anything great. So I don't need to go back.
Okay, I've been to so many different buffets, like the mom and pa's ones or whatever, and I was just like the point where I'm like, nothing compares to Ponderosa. It's sad because because I also look at it this way, it's like even most buffets, they suck, their food sucks, but their ice cream is usually good. And if you compare by your ice cream standards, Ponderosa had the best ice cream machine and everything. I love that.
The what were we just talking about?
Pizza and buffets.
No, the buffet pizza place, CC's.
Yeah.
The thing about CC's is I never get their regular pizzas. It's always like the barbecue or the buffalo chicken, that was actually good.
That's why I get the barbecue chicken at Papa John's. I was at that.
Yeah. Do they cook it?
Yeah.
Because I've never gotten a Papa John's.
I've also been to Little Caesars that did close down because they were not cooking their food all the way. It was very doughy. I was just like, I'm like, oh, whatever. It's more chili.
Now are you yay or nay on Papa Murphy's?
What's Papa Murphy's?
It's like Papa John, I guess, but you take it home. You bake yourself. They build it for you, and you take it home. You put it in your
I've
oven.
never even heard of that.
I thought maybe it was the Irish version of Papa John's.
Yeah.
No, to me, it's like,
no.
We'll put the toppings, we'll make the pizza for you, but you got to take it home and bake it yourself.
Gail and I tried Pizza King, which is big in Indiana, and that was all right. It was good pizza.
Well, now, since you're in Indiana, look for a place called Noble Romans.
Noble Romans? Okay.
Yeah.
Is that in Noblesville?
No, it's a chain. Actually, I think it started in Ohio. So I know they've got places in Ohio, Indiana, other places in the Midwest. That was my favorite pizza place. I lived in Indiana. They had a pizza that I absolutely loved called the Sicilian. That was a kind of a light bread type pizza. It's almost like a Detroit style, if you've ever heard or had one of those. So it's a square pizza with the cheese. It had pockets of baked sauce on top, and then with the toppings on top of that. So good. I loved it because you got this caramelized, crispy crust on the outside, but it was soft and tender on the inside. So my favorite place. So hopefully they're still around. Hopefully they still have that.
There's a couple of mom and pops around here. I mean, it's a freaking college town. There's a pizza joint every 2 freaking feet. It's like even Starbucks are telling them slow the fuck down. It's
oh well, that's right. I'm not sure if they're down your way or not. Pizza Express.
Yeah. But hey, I'm it's pizza. I'm willing to try anything, but I usually prefer the mama pops. I remember when Kaylee McKinney gave an attaboy to Domino's on Twitter, and the liberals lost their minds. They're doing it now. I don't know if y'all talked about it, but what do you think about President Kamala?
Well, I mentioned the fact I'm on team
Rewind.
#proof of life. I think it's incredibly bizarre how the announcement has come about. At the same time, again, you're watching, one of the traits of the Democrat Party over the last dozen plus years of how they might bicker amongst themselves, but they always rally around whatever will give them the best chance at keeping power. So, the way you saw as soon as, it came out that quote unquote Biden endorsed, Kamala, then you just saw all the various Democrats start lining up. I mean, the funniest one I saw a couple hours ago was the post from AOC, saying how she's fully in and fully supports Kamala Harris, when less than 24 hours ago she was on a live stream screaming how she supported Biden and hated how these Democrats were trying to push him out. But just like always, she always falls right into line with whatever the mainstream.
Yeah, she had said that. She said, "Mark my words, these old people do not want Kamala. Do not back Kamala."
Well, the if you can find humor in this, the same people that will continue to scream that January 6th was an insurrection will find nothing untoward about what's happened in the last week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, I do believe that part of AOC's last message was the fact that this is subverting the will of the people, which it is.
Right. Yeah. Well, and again, more importantly, too, if we had any kind of true adversarial press, I think about like the White House press corps from the 1980s, when I would watch Reagan press conferences and things like that. The fact that we don't have White House press corps currently camped out on the White House lawn or camped down in Delaware demanding to see President Biden, to have him make a public statement beyond the simple letter, shows just how duplicitous, just how in the bag the media is, where, it's just like, oh, he said this. Oh, well, wow, he's doing a great thing for the country and blah, blah, blah. It's just, they're moving on. And it's just like, wait a minute. You don't have any questions at all about this? I mean,
I said I don't think he had COVID. He probably had another stroke. The way he was trying to get up the stairs.
Well, again, as I say, I want proof of life at this point. And the longer it goes on, I will say here, I don't care. The longer this goes on without any kind of public presentation from him, I believe he's incapacitated.
I agree.
And I think the Democrats, if they truly get desperate, have one more card left to play, because they think that the sympathy and the month-long memorial service will get them 2 or 3 points.
Wait a minute. What if they?
But it would not shock me if we get some major announcement within the next week.
Or what if they dress Kevin Kline up to look like Joe Biden and have him come back hale and hearty?
Well, see, then Joe wouldn't have put that statement out. Now, I know I did see on Twitter he was comparing the signatures of Joe Biden from the last 5 executive orders that he put out versus the signature that was on this letter, and showing how radically different they are. But
it's forged. Yeah.
There's I'll say there's part of it's a simple explanation. Every president has what's called an auto pen. Which basically it's a little machine where you basically, make your signature, and then it essentially records that and then copies it. And so, every major executive politician has this, because you're not actually signing documents all the time unless you're doing something in public. So I'm sure that's what was on the executive order, because it looks exactly the same on every single executive order. So it's probably his signature from when they set up the auto pen 3.5 years ago. And then you look at the signature that's on the letter, and it's one of two things. It's either he did sign it, and again, you look at the signature and it shows, again, just how much of a mental and physical decline he has taken over 3.5 years, because of just how radically bad and different it is, or somebody else signed it for him.
I was just going to say that maybe he has been signing the other ones. He didn't use the auto pen because he's too stupid to figure it out. And then this time, Jill actually just signed it for him.
Yeah. But again, as I say, the longer we go without him, and again, too, this is something else that, COVID conditioned the public with is, oh, so-and-so's got COVID. Okay, well, they've got to go in isolation and hiding for X number of days or hours or or whatever until they quote unquote get better.
So what topic are we ignoring and talking about other things tonight? Because we've gone back to politics twice now.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, I thought I muted the mic, so sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna jump off because he's getting rambunctious and he needs to be put.
You could just open the door.
Okay.
No, I'm actually in the kitchen. It's an open floor.
There's one
here.
behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All righty. You guys have a good time.
No, you too.
I'll talk to you later tomorrow. I guess we'll do the All Stars.
All right.
All right. See you.
Yeah.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is there any pop culture topic you're interested in? Otherwise, we could.
Black Cat's been talking about let's do solicits.
Yeah, but the solicits came out a while ago.
Yeah.
Came out like a couple months ago.
Oh well,
No,
I
it
was
came out Friday.
Yeah, yeah. So Eric, I was telling Venkman off stream. I mean, especially since Inklentine's not here. I went to Dynamite 250 Wednesday night in Little Rock, so I got to see the 60-minute match between MJF and Will Ospreay in person. And
I agreed with like you said. You could pretty much skip the next 37 minutes, except for, I said the Jack Perry segment made me laugh when he said, "He goes, you think it upset me that you beat up Brandon Cutler?"
Yeah.
And then they open the door and he's laying there and he beats on him some more. Because I said, all the people that hate AEW say storytelling. Okay, they do that, and then those same people say, "Well, that was stupid." But I said that match, what my takeaway from that was, I had no idea. I mean, I knew MJF was good. I didn't realize he was that good already. Because, when you any match that goes that long is, a ballet. It is a spot fest. I don't care if it's AEW or WWE, if they ever did a match that long, or even when they do a 20-minute match. That MJF was basically 98% of Will Ospreay. That kid is he is what he says he is. When he's playing the heel, he is a generational talent.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though: it wasn't a spot fest because, and I give credit to MJF because I think he's the one, again, of course, to being the heel that led the match. But Ospreay picked up on it and willingly did the things too. It's the extra little things that they did that you don't normally see in the AEW matches. And, so it was, watching Ospreay sell, the way that MJF, would then roll out of the ring, slow things down, which forced Ospreay to slow down. My God, what was it? Seeing an actual rest hold in an AEW match was pretty amazing. And again, it wasn't 100% perfect. There were a couple of sequences where I did groan. I'm sure you could probably pick out which ones I didn't necessarily like. I mean, the biggest one was the roll around the ring where they're going back and forth with the roll ups. It was like
WWE does that,
all the time.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily like it when WWE does it either. It looks dumb.
It does. I mean, I agree, but again, it probably also gives those guys 15 seconds to catch their breath. Yeah, I don't care how conditioned you are. That's got to take the good Lord, that was amazing.
Oh yeah, no, but it was the other little things like they didn't immediately hit the table spot. You got like 3 or 4 teases of the table, where I was telling the person next to me, it's kind of like, oh, we're getting to like Schrodinger's table, here, or Chekhov's table. At some point it's going to come and play. Well, you just don't know yet.
Didn't you expect somebody to conveniently move the table away from the railing a little bit? Because I wouldn't have wanted to have done that spot that close to a hard ass railing.
I didn't necessarily think about it at the time because I mean, again, being there two rows behind Justin Roberts, I was really into it. And I've got to mention, it's hilarious. Yes, there I am. That is me behind the guy in the red hat.
About a minute later, and MJF takes out the cap, he drinks the water bottle, and he tosses it at the doctor there.
Yep. And sprayed the first 2 or 3 rows. Yes, I got wet by from MJF. Which was.
But I was waiting for one person to criticize when they did the thing where the little girl hit him 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the first person to criticize that was going to get a response from me. He said, yeah, and in 3 more years, she can win the tag team championship with Braun Strowman. But
now, see, it's funny with that. I didn't get a clear view of that, so I didn't see that because I was having to kind of watch up on the screen because it was on the other side of the arena away from me. But you know, again, too, the other little things that I appreciated were a couple times where you thought that, like, you know, Ospreay or MJF hit their finisher, or hit a finisher, but like bounced off the person, or, you know, because they were selling a leg, or because it looked like it had taken out of them, you know, it took them a second or two to crawl over to, you know, make the pin. Which, again, if you're going for that verisimilitude, that suspension of disbelief, to believe in what you're watching, okay, that extra second or two that he couldn't make the pin like you're supposed to makes it believable that the other person would have time enough to recover to get the shoulder up to, you know, kick out at 2. Those are I appreciate.
We all know that there's only one kind of wrestler that can get up immediately after somebody's finisher, and that is a new character in their first month or so with the promotion. You thought I was going to go, you know, Batu Stick or whatever. No, but, oh God knows. Well, yeah, first month he kicked, and then he loses 37 house shows. No, so you know, when a guy first gets there, they're unstoppable. You may want it's kind of like Reese Hines. He comes up and hits the 5 home runs, and the pitchers figure out how to pitch to him. Maybe it's that way with wrestling. They can figure it out because like I said, when you're first there, you know, when they're pushing you at the beginning. Well, I'll tell you what, you can take the Wile E. Coyote anvil falling on your head and get right back up.
Yeah.
But
well, the other thing,
you got a very WWE-esque ending of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I said, they're trying to do more of that.
What's funny about that match is, at least in person, I thought that's the best that Okada's looked since he came to AEW. So for it to end in a DQ, you know, it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, you know, oh well. But you know, I know one other thing, you know, that some people been criticizing about that match a little bit was the very end with it. You know, where I saw one of the comments, it's like, you know, okay, Will, you've been beating the crap out of MJF for 50 plus minutes now. He's a heel. He's spit at you. He's done all these horrible things to you. And now you've got a conscience that you don't want to hit this move to win the match.
It's a follow up to a previous thing with Daniel Bryan. He didn't want to do it. Yeah. That's what it is. Now,
I know, and I'll say it in the moment, in the heat of the moment, and being in the crowd. You know, I'll admit, you know, just because I know what I'm supposed to do as a person in the crowd. You know, I'm screaming like, "Will, do it! You got to do it! You got to do it! Don't hesitate!" You know. You know, and so I still, you know, love the finish because, I mean, again, it was a great heel finish. And number 2, I'm so glad that Daniel Garcia did not come down the ramp to try and interfere with the match, because the guy next to me kept saying, "Oh, just you wait, Daniel Garcia is going to come down. Daniel Garcia is going to come down." I'm like,
you know who got a big boost from that match? Daniel Garcia. Because the couple times that MJF was making fun of his dance, and God damn, he does it flawlessly.
Yeah.
When I said building stars, you know, Daniel Garcia was on his way. You know, I'm not gonna. I said, you know, I'll argue with you all day long about, you know, some stuff that AEW does, but we do agree Tony Khan needs a booker. I don't know if somebody's gotten into his head even to look. You know, he needs a booker as much as Donald Trump needs somebody to rein him in.
Well,
You know,
that's why.
so hopefully,
I'm hoping Shane McMahon.
no, I said, hopefully somebody is up because, like I said, Garcia, I expect him to be gone for a little while longer. But I said,
of course, why would he not? Did you hear that? He's paralyzed from the side down on one side.
well, maybe he can go to the Chad Gable School of Comebacks. But I said, but I think he has big time potential. Because he doesn't have the look of like he's somebody that would never get out of the mid card in WWE because he's not chiseled.
Yeah,
he just doesn't have that look. But in a promotion that does put more emphasis on inside the ring, I think he's got a shot, and this only helps him.
Well, I'm glad.
And that's not a knock on WWE because like I said, they're two different products. Daniel Garcia I said, I think because when he was having kick-ass matches with Bryan Danielson, remember when they were when he was straddling whether or not to leave Jericho's whatever it was at the time. And then he ended up, and I thought they dropped the ball when they had him turn on Danielson and stay with Jericho's faction, whatever. I guess that at the time was the Appreciation Society.
Yeah.
But so that I think that kind of set him back. But like I said, but the end of the show, I mean, Stevie Wonder knew where Darby Allin was going to come from, but still, I imagine the crowd popped pretty good for it.
Oh yeah. I mean, the crowd popped good. I mean, we figured Darby was going to come out at some point. I didn't expect him to rappel down from the rafters, and I'm just thinking to myself at the same time, going like, the final of the Owen Hart tournament was how many weeks ago?
It went through my mind too, but hey, but how many times I said, but I said it was entertaining. So what are the teams there? It's
well, so you've got basically Team Elite, which is the Bucks, Okada, Perry, and Page against Swerve, Darby, the Acclaimed, and is it Mark Briscoe? I think.
Yeah, Briscoe.
Yeah. Which is kind of interesting. So I just got to tell you, it's really funny. So, it basically turned into almost a 5-hour show because we got 2 ROH matches before the start of Dynamite. And we got the 2-hour Dynamite show. Then we got Rampage. And so I've got video here. I took a 3-minute video of Tony Khan coming out on stage between after Dynamite was over while they were changing out the ring for Rampage. And he's just a maniac. He's thanking the audience. He's saying, "Stay here. We're gonna have a great Rampage. This is gonna be awesome. We're so happy to be in first time in Little Rock. You guys were great." Just on and on and on. Of course, he talks about how now you get to hear about my favorite movie, Time Cop. Because of the whole thing of, hey, guess what? You're going to be able to. You're heading into the future. Because you'll be able to see yourself on Friday, and all this stuff. And I give the fans credit too. I mean, I think I would say probably at least 80% of the crowd stayed for Rampage. So it was fairly full. Again, I've heard anywhere between 2,600 to 3,300 people were there. I mean, personally, for me, I would say there had to have been more than 3,000 people there, which I mean still isn't great. I mean, you can still see it on TV because again the entire Simmons Arena has two levels plus the floor. The entire second level was curtained off. The sections that are behind the hard camera setup were curtained off. Well, there was like one section maybe to the left of me that was like half open. Then there were essentially the first sections behind me, and then of course on the other side where the camera was there. And so I mean I would say that like on the side camera was probably 90+% full. The sections behind me were probably about 50 to 60% full, and I thought the floor was, at least 95% full, at least from what I could find.
You said it's not great, but I think back to like 6 years ago when WWE was pulling in like 3,000 and 4,000 fans on some of their shows, and they recognized they had a problem and they fixed it. AEW, and at the time WWE had no competition. AEW has the longest, most successful running promotion in wrestling history, and I would say at this point you have to say it is WWF, WWF, where running at their most popular. The fact that AEW is still doing what it's doing, I mean, the ratings went way up this week again for
Well, it's interesting with the ratings. I don't know if you saw kind of the quarter by quarter breakdown. So because it started out at like around, I think, 870,000, and then by the end of the Osprey MJF match, I think it was like 840. Which again, compared to what AEW has been doing for the last several months, I mean, that's fantastic. And then, of course, the next segment is Jericho, and that quarter hour dropped below 700,000.
I will just say this: Jericho is a humanitarian. He allowed Hook and Joe to have a couple of weeks off. I mean,
the only.
It's
for
great.
For me, the only good thing about that segment was seeing Minoru Suzuki come out. So, but again, that's because I'm a Japanese.
I think right now, I think it's in to bash Jericho. I think it is just let that play for what it is. My only argument against it would be it's hard enough to find TV time for all the really talented guys they've got there, but I'm talking about talented wrestlers. And when when it's all wrestling, they get criticized for that. When they do, when they tell stories, they get criticized for that. Now, maybe Jericho stayed too long at the party, but fuck, if anybody's deserved the chance to maybe stay a little bit longer in closing time, it's Jericho. Because both the two biggest promotions owe a ton to that man. And like I said, I mean, I kind of get it. I kind of get a chuckle out of it, as long as they don't go too long. But because like I said, I mean, I defend that AEW is where they wrestle, but if it's all wrestling, that does get dull.
Yeah. Well, again, it's you got to have a balance of everything, and I still think in this day and age, because on average, for the most part, wrestlers are so much more conditioned. It's just like any other sport right now in terms of the athleticism. Because better training, better weight training, the whole 9 yards. That it's the storytelling and the characters are even more important than the wrestling now, because honestly, almost anybody can put on, a decent match. I mean, granted, I didn't think much of the Nyla Rose Mercedes Moné match, but whatever.
You have to appreciate the progressive of the intergender match.
No comment.
And I will say this though.
I will say, well, no. I'll say this. It was funny though. So and I stayed for the whole thing. So the 2 hour Dynamite, and we had a 1 hour Rampage, and then to treat, because we were such a great audience, we got 2 more ROH matches, including a quote unquote lights out match, even though they didn't do what you're supposed to do with a lights out match. But so it was really just an anything goes match, and it was Diamante versus Layla Hirsch. If you remember those 2 people, it's like, okay, sure. And of course, I mean, the terrible thing about it is that basically it ended with a table splash, and Layla Hirsch gashed her arm on the table. So it's like, oh God. But anyways, real quickly. So I don't know if you watched Rampage and saw the the tag match between with Jericho and Big Bill versus, I think it's the Outcasts or the Outriders. I forget what the hell they're called. The kind of those 80 throwback guys.
I didn't see it.
Okay. I appreciated the match because it was an old-fashioned heel squash match. Because the way it was Big Bill started out. He did all the movements. He took on, both of them, beat the hell out of each one. Finally, after about 7-8 minutes or whatever, got the one guy down, did the finisher, and then he got up, tagged Jericho. Jericho walked through the ropes, put his foot on the guy's chest, and got the pin. And I was like, okay, if you're gonna have him do a heel tag squash match, this is the way you do it. Because this is how you get heat on a heel, where Jericho is such an asshole that he doesn't do anything the entire match and just comes in and takes the pin. So I appreciated that storytelling for what that match was supposed to do.
Because at some point Jericho's going to get his lights knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
This is all building, and probably by Joe would be my guess.
Yeah,
but I forgot what I was.
Yeah.
I forgot I was going to. But I'll say, I'll tell you what I was disappointed by.
Yeah.
Was the absolute lack of anything that was really put into Collision. I realized that the two people they were building that show around to begin with, one's, feuding with Drew McIntyre in another promotion, and the other one has been too hurt to, fight for half a year. But, and you got to bring something to that, because it's, I said, you need right now you don't have the luxury of not putting as close to your best forward, because I said, again, this isn't me. I've heard this from a shitload of WWE fans. When they talk about the ratings, they go, yeah, well, I don't know how much the ratings matter anyway, because SmackDown absolutely sucks and gets more ratings than Raw because of where it airs.
I'm not sure who's necessarily saying SmackDown sucks. I mean,
pretty much everybody.
Really? Okay. I've been watching SmackDown the last few weeks. I mean, if nothing else, just the Cody and the Bloodline segments have been awesome in that. Yeah, there's a couple of down spots here and there, but I mean, I wouldn't say the show sucks, but
I don't watch enough to. But what I'm saying is, if you're WWE, you have the luxury of misfiring on maybe not, but I say I'm sure there's SmackDowns where Cody either doesn't show or they but I said you got to put some of your big guns on Saturday night again if you're Tony Khan.
Yeah,
because they did have MJF showed up to not to wrestle but just to talk. But
well, and I think that's the problem that AEW has right now is that for the criticisms that you can make of WWE right now, their big storylines and their big characters are hitting. Cody is huge. The Bloodline section right now is awesome. I mean, Solo and Fatu look amazing.
I don't understand how Cody's still popular because he's so boring on the microphone.
People, hey, I don't know. I don't necessarily find him boring on the microphone, and he's popping the crowd. And then on the Raw side, while Damian Priest isn't the most charismatic, the whole Rhea Ripley's back, Mommy's back, and you've got the whole Mom and Dom and the Liv thing that is just freaking fantastic.
Didn't like that they had her come out at 10:59:30. Because they wanted people to watch the YouTube, what happened afterwards.
Yeah.
If you're going to put on a show and a network's paying for it, at least put the show there. Yeah. They're still going to watch the things because, I mean, they were still in the ring and she was responding to the first thing Dominic said when they went off the air because they're not allowed to run over anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But, I said now, actually, I think Damian Priest is I like him a lot. But I will say this. But one thing I said, WWE fans ought to be very grateful that AEW exists, because Vince McMahon has gone to exactly one person's home to make him an offer they couldn't refuse. And that doesn't happen if he's on the indie circuit. Trust me. So that's and
I know you've said this to me before in terms of, oh, you want to see AEW fail. No, not at all. I want AEW to be, a solid competitor. It's just, right now, and this is where I really hope that this, because again, when MJF came back, I was a little concerned because it was like, okay, these promos aren't going that great, and now you've got him with Daniel Garcia. But when he turned on Garcia the way that I was hoping and beat the living hell out of him and became devil heel MJF again, it was like, oh, thank God. We've got the MJF back. It was so funny because, I was trying to do I was doing my best as what you're supposed to do as a fan in terms of booing the heel every time the MJF was an a-hole during that match.
I was cheering at home. I didn't care.
God got it. I wanted to cheer so bad because I loved him so much. He was so good in that match.
Well,
and so
it reminds me. Remember Triple H
was hoping that this means that we can finally take the Bucks off of being the main storyline, because I'm sorry, I just don't like him anymore.
I don't care about their whole AEW versus thing. I'm like, I don't want a poor man Survivor Series.
And at the same time, it does kind of tick me off because the crowd initially really liked Swerve Strickland, and they have done such a disservice to him in terms of his world championship title run right now. I mean, he is an afterthought on every show. So it'll be interesting to see with Blood and Guts here and him. Hopefully he actually is leading Team AEW, that might be able to regain some shine for him. But again, he's in that weird thing where he did a bunch of things heelish, and that kind of got him popular, and then they just kind of flipped him face without really anything. And
do you know what was crazy though? Is that what was it, the Owen Hart match, and then you had what's his name, Jeff Jarrett, who's been a heel since he ever arrived. He's been a heel. Suddenly turns face. The screw over Hangman Page.
No, that happened. He's on the way out, and wrestlers tend to go out as faces.
I just thought it was just so awkward to me. I'm like, dude, you've been a dick the whole entire year. All of a sudden you changed. I'm like, because they made me weird. I'm like, because usually when something happens, because either they're retiring soon or whatever. But I mean, it was good, cool. And then to see the segment, they showed with the son, Owen Hart's son coming up and being like, it's like so cool to see. They let you know, for those who aren't big fans of this back in the heat, is that he was Owen Hart's tag team partner and all that stuff. So it's really cool that they included him in that thing, because last year he wasn't in it.
Getting back to Swerve, you know what they need to do with him?
He's swerving back to
yesterday. They need to have Prince Nana do what everybody else in the Mobile Embassy did and turn on him, because a champion does not need, whatever it is he does.
Well, then it'd be just really Adam Cole turning on MJF.
Well, no, it's just, I said when Swerve was a heel, having this guy doing that prick dance that he does added to the heel. But now he's trying to be, they're kind of having him leaning face. He just makes it look ridiculous. Get him out of there.
I like it. I'm fine with it.
Now, if then Swerve Strickland becomes a cartoon character. It's like, and again, because that's happened to a hell of a lot of really good performers on WWE. They get saddled with cartoon gimmicks. Not as much now that McMahon's gone, but that was a big problem when the old man was in charge.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Swerve feels like to me. With
Well,
Prince,
So
Nana.
I'm trying to remember. Okay, Swerve. Yeah, because Swerve won the title off of Joe, right?
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yes.
So
It was a three match with the Hangman Page, Swerve, and Joe.
Yeah. So here was the thing. First off, I thought it was really dumb that the Empire turned on him after he won the title. To me, that made like zero sense because, hey, this guy's won the title. He's your leader. He's your undisputed leader now. You should follow him. You should only turn on him when he loses the title.
I think they were playing up we don't like what he's becoming. The people are like him, and we don't like. That's the only thing I can figure. And I said sometimes you have to change plans based on audience reactions. I mean, the reason why MJF and Adam Cole worked so well together was the fans loved them together. And if Cole doesn't get hurt, MJF's probably still a face, and God knows what. There's two how big they would be. Now they can bring Cole back as a face again. Yeah, because MJF has flipped the script, and guys coming back off of long injuries. Hell, I remember Triple H was beating people with sledgehammers in every one of his matches. He tore something in his knee really bad and was out for like almost a year. And they showed all the Rocky type recovery videos they would film. He comes back as a face because that's kind of how it works. So I look for Adam Cole to come back as a face again. And
I gotta say though, Swerve being a heel in WWE is like, I remember him, or not WWE, but I mean AEW. But I remember watching him 205 Live, so watching Swerve. I'm like, who is this guy? And it kind of like he really was just a jobber on that. To see him rise up with the Mogul Embassy and stuff like that, and just become like this alpha male type, and then seeing a good face Hangman Page just losing it and have him come back is like evil Hangman Page. I was like, dang. I was like, he doesn't even have the same music more. Like this music. I thought I was having like a barbecue, a restaurant.
I think Swerve might have been a little too, how do I say this delicately, urban to be put over as in WWE to that degree, because he's more street than Kingston? Say like well, I said Kofi and and
then
the guy
Brock Lesnar kills him.
The guy plays the trombone or whatever it is he plays. What's Xavier Woods?
Yeah.
And I said because Big E, his career took off when people realized, my God, he's got a really outgoing personality. Xavier Woods has an outgoing personality. Remember when Kofi forgot to do his accent and they just ran with it after that? I don't know that Swerve, I don't know if that's the kind of character Swerve can play.
Yeah.
I could see Swerve going back to being heel again, just like MJF. I mean, eventually.
Well, I mean, honestly, he's constantly on the border. I mean, what I would have liked to have seen in terms of, again, you talk about kind of storytelling, was him to be a heel champ and then lose the title, and then that's when everybody turns on it, because it's like, you lost, you're an idiot, go away, the bad guys beat him up, and then he becomes a face, and then climbs back up to challenge, and then you've got storyline where he goes to beat his old teammates, and then get himself back into position to win a title. But
again, the only thing I could think of that why they didn't do that was, I don't think anybody gave a shit about the Mogul Embassy other than Swerve.
Yeah,
that's why I think that's why I think instead of building a program around it, they just kind of got it out of the way.
Yeah.
Whether that was a smart decision or not.
Yeah. So one last thing I wanted to ask you guys about, what do you think about the Tony Storm Mariah May storyline right now?
I honestly, from the very beginning, I was like, okay, whatever, she's a protege, whatever, is a heel.
Mm-hmm.
And then they bring in like the girl from Stardom, her former tag team mate, and they're starting to doing a little bit of the kissing thing, and I'm like, and It felt like old school WWE or WF, you know.
Good old HLA, as
Yeah.
I've heard it referred to.
Well, I think I obviously they did this to hype the match over there, closer to their home.
Yeah, Australia.
But I got to admit, when she came out, was it as Tony Storm?
Time was Tony Storm.
With the hair
Oh.
the same way and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
You kind of had to look twice to realize
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, when
I will say differently because
I thought, oh, it's Tony Storm, and it wasn't until somebody next to me was going, wait, that's not Tony, that's Mariah May. Look.
No, I was gonna say right away. Look at the ass; it's so much smaller.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
Well, then I realized too, like the attendant wasn't out there too. It was like, okay, yeah, it's Mariah. I mean, the thing that I was really impressed at was like I was black and white. I don't know how they did it in the audience, but it was really weird. But no, the story's good. I just feel like it would have been. It just feels like they're trying to force Tony to now be a face when I think the better storytelling would have been Tony turning on Mariah because she got jealous that Mariah now was becoming a star because she won the Owen Hart tournament and, was going to eclipse her, which again, you look at, some of the classic, stories of the aging actress that was number one that has the understudy that suddenly is better than her, and so the Asian one has to take the one down because I think Tony's better as a heel, not a face.
I think what's going to happen. Here's my prediction, real quick, and I'll shut up. I think they're going to have some kind of crazy match over there. I think they're going to make up, and that's when I think you're going to see the Tony Storm turn. Because again, build it up. Subvert expectations, and then set up Mariah May for as like a top face position among the women, which she gets a little better. Because I agree with you, it should have been the other way around, but maybe they've figured out that there is something to be gained from having a storyline last more than a month or two, and that would be a way to do it.
So perhaps I just think that it's because the crowd. I'll let you in. Hey, I haven't talked in a week, so I just think this was another case where because the crowd was cheering Tony Storm because they like the character and they like her, that it was okay. We've got to turn her face, even though I think she's better as a heel. Sorry, Venkman.
Oh, I gotta say, I've been found the hope since Mariah May arrived, she's been belittled by Tony, and then finally she decided instead of whenever she did something, Tony would belittle her, like that. They've been doing that ever since the beginning. So then, all of a sudden, I noticed that Tony was starting to be nicer to her. So kind of, I could tell there was going to be a betrayal, And honestly, so to me, it made sense the fact that Tony got her ass beat because Tony's been a champion for too long. They needed somebody, and this was their swerve, basically.
Yeah.
Where is Saraya
right now too? So, Eric,
Saraya has been hanging out with Harley.
But does she ever wrestle?
She has been wrestling.
Saraya,
no, she did at least once or twice.
Yeah, well, she wrestled Mariah May because remember there was that whole big thing about how they were supposed to have a match and it got cut for television because other segments ran too long, and then they wrestled the following week. And I think she wrestled. I think she's had one more match since then.
So Mariah May came out in the Outcast jacket, and then they ripped it off of her. She remember that was the beginning of that match.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, real quick too, I was going to mention too that you should check out because I saw that they posted the Jim Cornette segment on the MJF match, and he is very complimentary to it. He liked a lot. He liked a lot of things in that match. So I mean, again, that kind of tells you that they did that match right, more or less. So I was really curious to see what his comments were going to be about it, and it's interesting in terms of there were a lot of kind of similar things that I kind of picked up on being in the crowd, and of course again too, I think one of the things that made it enjoyable was I didn't have to listen to Excalibur and Tony Schiavone during the course of the match, because I mean, I will admit I was thinking about it after the match was over, going like, it was awesome being in the crowd for this. I don't know if I would have been able to stick it out if I was just watching it on TV.
I like listening to Nigel. Nigel's fun.
Well,
Yeah.
I do like that. Tony is, when he's doing MJF matches, I don't know. My guess is they get along very well off screen, because you watch it, and Schiavone, like him or not, he's good at what he does. He's been doing it for 40 years, and he's aged about 5, other than getting fat. He's a baseball announcer too. You knew that, didn't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But he comes across with like a visceral hatred for Friedman, and I like that. Because it's more than just the good guy announcer. I mean, he just it's. Like I said, if nothing else, he does that well. So, if he, at least if there's any match,
if they just got rid of Excalibur, because I know, listening, reading some folks, it was like one of the things that just annoyed the hell out of people, especially this, was like him laughing at like moments that were like serious in the match, and I'm just so sick of Excalibur. I mean, honestly, I wish it would just be like, Nigel and Taz, or Taz and Tony. Just get rid of
Excalibur. Just seems to me to be there. I'm not sure what he does do.
Speaking of things that are just seem to be there, the cat is dropping out.
Sorry,
I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
Well,
I
we'll
basically left to go cook some food, eat the food, came back, and I'm like, you guys are still on this?
Well, I figured you gave up because you were done trolling in there. Because they're threatening to time you out.
Well, if comics didn't suck, we wouldn't be talking wrestling for so long.
Unfortunately, very true.
Unfortunately, not all comics suck, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, before you even threatened me, and also I have a blue wrench too, so you can't time me out.
Yeah, I can. You're less evil ginger bullshit.
I can just jump back, just switch into evil black cat. I don't even know which one I have turned on.
No, but it's Excalibur's there because he's friends with the Bucks.
Later, folks.
See you, Cat.
See you, Cat. He was there. I don't know if he co-owned. I know he had some role with PWG, which is every indie marks, Nirvana, which is this small little outfit out of Southern California that would get all the top indie wrestlers together like once or twice a year, like for these big tournaments and stuff. So that's all where he came from. And so, unfortunately, I think he's one of Tony Khan's toys that he just hasn't gotten tired of.
Well, speaking of postage stamp, promotions, there's one that it's some kind of offshoot of NWA, but it's not. Do you remember Damian Sandow?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his real name. His name in this is Aaron Stevens. I think his real name is kind of close to that.
Yeah, no, it's not an offshoot of NWA. It is NWA.
Oh, okay, God. So they were fighting in a grade school gym because you can see the basket behind him.
Okay. But maybe he was doing it for an indie then. I know he's been big on the Billy Corgan NWA.
Well, he's also been on Gutfeld a couple times.
Have a good night, Jackson Ray Kirk.
Yep. Jackson.
Yeah, I said because I didn't realize he's every bit as conservative as Tyrus.
Oh.
And I was happy to hear that. I mean, like vocally, because you go on Gutfeld, you've pissed off half the wrestling fans because I didn't realize that how much of a haven for far left loons. A kid that I've known for 30 plus years, I had to unfollow last Saturday because he was pissed that people like Richard Simmons and Shelley Duvall were dying, but Trump lived.
Oh,
and I said, and he's also, and if he saw Tony Khan, first thing Tony Khan would say was, "Jeremiah, my buddy," and they'd hug. So I mean, he knows him personally. They've hung out. But
is he aware that Tony and his father have donated money to the Republican Party?
I was gonna say Tony is. I've also noticed that ever since. So here's the nice thing: since Punk left, it hasn't been as much left on the microphone from that one guy, from the mic guy. I noticed it's kind of toned down a lot.
The mic guy.
I kind of think
that
Tony Khan might be left leaning, or maybe coming to the center as he gets older and probably has had to deal with
the drama.
Well, no, deal with the workload of running a huge company. When he might actually, like if Daddy says you can only have 30 million this quarter instead of 40.
Yeah.
But either way, But if he did, no, then Jeremiah would hate him, because he's, like I said, my favorite part of Jeremiah would if he bullet an alibi, Hulk Hogan's dead. Because in Lefty Land, you get no redemption.
Yep. Here's my thing. The whole you see, bring up Hogan. They already canceled him because he said the N-word, supposedly.
Right. Well,
so it's like,
why
were they shocked?
Amazing Thursday night.
What made it better for me was knowing, because here's the thing. He despises all conservatives. I mean, despises them. I'm a conservative. I did not end my friendship with him when he came out. I congratulated him when he married a man named Eric. I said, cool name, but he lost some of his lefty friends, but he is just so filled with visceral hatred for anybody conservative. And just knowing wherever he was whatever comes after seething when Hulk Hogan was speaking for Donald Trump, probably the two people Jeremiah hates more than anybody on planet Earth.
So you bring up about the seething hatred and stuff. I forgot who it was, but there's basically a girl that was going around, a conservative reporter going around, and she talks to this black man, and he's a lefty, he's a Democrat, and he's like, would you be willing to? It's like, would you ask me? Would you be willing to walk around with me, like, if I, and see how I go through? And he agrees.
I've seen that video.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. He walks with her into versus the conservatives. They're all, it's like. And they're so open to him, friendly. He's like, oh my gosh, because he's like, I've been told that they're horrible, racist, all stuff. And then he's like, then they go into the Democrat area, where all the protests are, and he's shocked by how vile they are towards her. And a lot of people are waking up to this. It's like, how can you say you're about, you hate Trump because he's a racist, but they're so vile towards other people. And another girl. She says, like, I was a Democrat, and stuff. I was activist. I was at at these Antifa things. I got pepper sprayed, and then I realized that everyone around me has mental disorders. They're angry. They hate everybody. They hate each other. They don't support anybody. She's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? She got out of that, and she realized it's just like how horrible of a cult it is, and how it's just everybody's miserable.
Well, the difference between I'm not going to be naive enough to say there aren't extremists on both sides.
Oh, sure.
The difference is the extremists on our side are ostracized by our side. They are legitimized on the other side by the other side. Because, like I said, when you can look at the people, like I said, the blue-haired land whales that will contribute absolutely nothing in their lives other than trips to HR, they're considered they're the group that we want leading the future.
What do you mean? They are the HR
because they're the good. They're the good people, and people that just want safe streets, small government, blah blah. We're the extremists. No, like I said, that's why I said what happened last Saturday. might go down as one of the most important events in world history because it may have saved the world. Not to be too hyperbolic, but because you're starting to see people are waking up to just how insane. Because I said this was, expression, give someone an inch and they'll take a mile. Well, they've taken a marathon. And I don't know if you can rein it back in, but you got to start reining it back in. And I think that is starting because you're talking about Twisters, no agenda, just a fun movie. Every studio knows that's the pathway to making money. And maybe they'll start doing it again now that DEI is starting to dry up, the DEI money. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. But I said it's those people. I said they are because 2 or 3 generations of going to school, being taught that you're what you think is right, everybody else is evil. It's like that tweet said. Mm-hmm. There are 60 genders, but there are only 2 opinions: mine and Nazi. Yeah. That's that kind of that. I thought that was one of the most brilliant posts I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, I know you started to see it before Saturday, and I think it's definitely started to accelerate after Saturday. You're starting to see it's an old phrase, the Overton window is starting to move back towards the center, moving right back towards the center. And so for people who don't know, the Overton window is kind of this term that I forget, some political scientist kind of came up with it, but it's kind of like what is, quote unquote, accepted thought or accepted ideas. And as we've seen over the last decade plus, the Overton window has shifted sharply to the left to where, quote unquote, what is normal is, this leftist philosophy nonsense, and what we think is like, generalized like common sense or conservative ideas have been, quote unquote, outside the Overton window, which means they can be shunned and disregarded. And so you started to see, and part of that, again, big credit to like Elon Musk. You've seen, suddenly, various people in Silicon Valley and what have you, starting to say, hey, I can't support this stuff anymore. And like the Bill Ackermans of the world as well. And you've started to see that Overton window starting to move back towards the center, back to where, it's okay to be a Trump supporter. It's okay to be a conservative, and you're not going to get shunned out of society, which I think is obviously important. But
I feel like more people get shunned online for being conservative than they do in person.
Yeah, well,
depends
again,
on where you are.
Yeah,
we're in the middle.
It definitely depends on where you are, where you work, what industry you're in, a lot of things. But no, the Hogan thing on Thursday, I was rolling and laughing. I enjoyed that so much. It was unbelievable. I mean, from the start where they did the right thing. He came out to "I'm a Real American," which was great. Waving the flag, and
I told you they're gonna. There's no way he's not gonna come out to that if he's going. He's gonna speak.
And then doing the whole. I think I counted brother at least half a dozen times.
He just rips his shirt off.
And then rips the shirt off. I mean, it was him doing a promo that was political.
Eric Bischoff posted a tweet saying, "I've never been seen Hogan, that happy in a very long time."
Yeah, so that was great.
I'm not a Kid Rock fan.
Would have been great having the Iron Sheik comes out and he punches the Iron Sheik and body slams him.
It's been a little tough to do these days.
Yeah, it would have been tough.
But what he was doing was great. Dana White, Hogan. It was just fun. And people that looked, I hate to say it, people that looked normal and happy. They're I'm not talking about the Gold Star families. Man, that was earlier in the convention.
No, the biggest takeaway from all that is that the Democrats could say that whole RNC night was like, oh, look at, they misspelled the name. No, that's the way it was on the uniform because they didn't have room for the extra A. It was done purposely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was.
But I'm just saying there's nothing they could say.
Oh yeah, no.
It's like those who loved Hogan were now like, how could you?
Yeah.
It's
Well, and again, the biggest complaints they had, for Trump was, oh, it went too long. Oh, he lost the people. Oh, it turned into a stump speech. It was like,
Straczynski
yeah,
today, Jackass says like, there's no way Trump can win because he can't. He is planning for Biden and them. He's like, he can't plan for the next guy. I'm thinking like, are you?
they've been,
Can you just go back to just talk about Babylon 5?
I'll be back in a minute.
okay, yeah. But
I followed Straczynski, and then he started getting super into politics, and that's all his tweets were. And I was just like, and you can't. And he says like, don't ask me questions. I'll block you. And I'm thinking like, I want to ask him. Is like, are you an idiot? Like, it's sad.
So, no, I mean, all you have to do, compare Trump. I mean, again, it's incredible. His RNC speech goes 93 minutes. Go and watch it. I forget, somebody had posted, and I was like, oh my God, you're right.
The only thing I thought was weird is when Trump leaned down and kissed the helmet. That is kind of weird for me. Like, I don't care who you are, what kind of guy you are. I was like,
I was waiting to hear people, kind of that, but surprisingly, I didn't really hear too much about that. But there was no uhs, wells.
He wasn't LK. He was
exactly. Yeah, he wasn't LK. He wasn't Biden. He went 93 minutes, and more importantly too, I think at least only about half to 2/3 of that was actually written on the teleprompter. He riffed. Yeah, he would start talking about a certain subject, and he would kind of go off, further details and kind of the typical stuff he would do.
I was more pumped for his granddaughter, her speech and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that was interesting to see, because I'm like, remember, normally it was about Barron like 4 years ago, and now Barron's kind of like gone and stuff. I don't think he was even there at the night, but
I thought
the granddaughter, like, and she's like, I love it because more stuff she's been popping on social media, like, and it's like her playing golf, and like they all suck at playing golf. They just play where her ball lands.
Yeah, it's like, so he had, so he did the 93-minute speech on Thursday. And then he comes back on Saturday, Grand Rapids, and I swear that stump talk was 2 hours. I had it on. I was looking at a couple other things, doing some stuff in the house, and watching that whole time. I swear that was 2 hours. And again, part of it was laughing, part of it was joking. It was so funny. It was so funny when he pointed down to the auto worker, and the guy came up. And watching the security come up to him,
like, what's going on?
Oh yeah, well, he came up. There was one security guy that came up, and you saw him, speak into his lapel like this, because he was like, Trump was like, yeah, come up here, and then he got up there. It was great. I mean, it was, again, typical Trump, but again, 2 hours, no signs of fatigue. I mean, just amazing. And if people want to claim it's long, fine, it's long, but who cares? I mean, it shows.
It's the same people complain about movies being too long.
Yeah, well, again, you can already see it, kind of like with Kamala being anointed here. One of the talking points the paid shills on the Dem side are trying to post is like, now the oldest person running is Trump, and blah blah blah. Trying to turn the age thing on Trump. It's like, yeah, good luck. I mean, he could pull out. He could pull out the Reagan comment against Mondale, and
you know what Trump's gonna do? He's gonna pull out the P. Diddy video footage of her hanging out with P. Diddy.
Oh, he can do it.
There's so much dirt on her, and he just has to play a clip of her just laughing. It's like,
oh yeah,
and just put a picture of Ed the hyena from. It's literally. So the biggest thing I've been seeing a lot of memes with her, Kamala Harris, is it's her basically they're saying calling her a slut. Yeah, it's on her knees, and like that's the only reason that she'll get votes. Is basically like I was like, where did this come from? I've never heard.
Do you want to know?
Sleeping her weight.
Oh, I can tell you this because I lived in
California. All I know is that she arrested a bunch of weed people. That's all.
No. So she got her political career start. So there was a long time California politician, power player. He was the speaker of the California State Assembly for decades, and then wound up after leaving, getting term limited out of the assembly, becoming mayor of San Francisco for a couple of terms, named Willie Brown.
Okay.
She basically was his mistress while he was still married, quote unquote. He was separated from his wife, whatever. The fact is, he was married. They were an item. He basically bought her, put her on a couple of commissions. Basically, got her first political job. She got installed into the San Francisco political machine. Basically, I'll say greased the way to win the San Francisco Attorney General spot. He was 60 at the time. She was like in her 30s or whatever. So that's where the whole knee pads thing comes from, because she was sleeping with Willie Brown.
I thought maybe because she lost her Jamaican accent like Kofi.
No, no, not at all. And so the thing about Kamala is she has never been liked in California politics. Everybody has always seen her as a lightweight. The toughest race that she had before she got blown out in the presidential primaries in 2020 was when she first ran for California Attorney General. It should have been an easy win. She won by less than a percentage point. And it was the first difficult race she had. Her going from the California Attorney General spot to the U.S. Senate spot was basically a fait accompli. Everybody was cleared out of the Democratic primary. By that point, California was essentially a Democrat one-party state. So whoever won the primary was going to win the vote. So she never really actually had to run for Senate. She's completely undistinguished in the Senate. When she finally actually had to run on a national stage, you saw what happened. She was a complete, absolute disaster, despite the fact of having the Hillary machine behind her, having the media machine behind her, having a lot of money behind her, her cackling, her lack of intelligence.
So
again,
two people cackling. So
example. Sorry, I got to say it. She's another perfect example of somebody who is smart but dumb. Yes, she has degrees, but she is dumb as a doornail. And she completely flamed out on the national stage.
I remember the VP thing. Yeah, she was an idiot during the debate. But no, I was gonna say the people are saying like the Harris Clinton having Hillary Clinton like being like the VP. I don't see Hillary's even getting anywhere near the presidency whatsoever.
Well, I can't see Hillary accepting a VP slot unless
you're gonna bump her off.
Kamala comes to an untimely demise. But yeah, But I don't know. Did you catch the Brandon Herrera video?
Who the hell's Brandon Herrera? I'm not into Twitter politics and all that stuff.
No. He's one of the gun guys. His channel's Brandon. I think his channel's actually Brandon Herrera. He's tests out a lot of firearms. He was also the guy who tried to run for Congress in Texas and lost in a primary runoff. Really great guy. Anyways, he did a video just a day or two ago, kind of recreating Saturday to try and dispel some of the various myths out there. And that was
like AR does not stand for assault rifle.
Yeah, well, just showing
Armalites.
Well, kind of like showing that no, this was not staged. He wasn't aiming for the ear and all this type stuff.
That's another thing too. I hate that crap. You were saying it was staged. Oh, so they purposely murdered someone. I wouldn't put it past them to murder someone. Just
Yeah. But I mean, it's watching that I really finally realized just how close he came. Just how truly serious. Because at first, again, it was like that Saturday where I didn't see about it. I didn't even know until I kind of looked at my phone and saw there was a little news blurb on there. But again, it said initially that that Trump had fallen on the stage and Secret Service took him out. That was what the blurb said. It wasn't until I kind of started looking, I was like, oh,
you know what I checked when I first wake up? I checked Sports Ball to see what the hell you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
It's usually either it's comics, sports, or it's something to do with politics sometimes. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm like I don't even turn on the news anymore, like Fox News and stuff like that. I'm like, no, I check on see what so we can complain about me when I not scheduled them or we're putting the links out for a chat.
Yeah.
Like it's my first go to, and I also then I check YouTube to see how everything's doing on the channel, views and stuff and whatever. I don't go straight into like looking to check to see what the news is or stuff or even the weather really much.
Yeah, but
because I know you guys were just I know you guys will get me updated on whatever is going on. Because I used to watch Fox News. And I just like at the point where it's like after Tucker left, I really have no desire. I mean, Greg Garfield's okay, but he's not going to hold my attention like for the whole entire week. And he's always on the very late at night too.
Right.
So, like I used to watch the 5,
Yeah.
And I got the point where I just didn't care for that anymore. If anything,
although last week it's been good. So actually, I probably watched more Fox News in the last, I guess, week and a half than I had in probably like the last 6 months.
I want to know who that guy is that's on The View that's basically making fun of Whoopi Goldberg, and he's a guy he's been on there and they're talking about how women are upset because they go to school and they can't find a guy and he's like and he says it's because your friends are privileged people who are stuck up in the elitists, and he said their future is, and they have like Whoopi Goldberg with a cat, and she's like, what? Like I love because he's the only guy on there that basically calls him. He's like I don't say he's Middle Eastern, but I mean like he's not European or American. He's basically like I love it because he calls them on their bullshit. Just like Norm Macdonald used to make fun of him when he was beyond there.
So. Yeah, you were talking about Fox, and the Fox News shifted when Rupert turned it over to his son.
He did.
Who was married to a huge Hillary supporter. And they decided that they wanted to be controlled opposition, but be invited to the same cocktail parties as the folks at CNN and MSNBC. Now, once upon a time, it's still on the air. They had a show called Outnumbered, and they would have. I know. I'm kind of doing a bit, and they would have 4 usually really hot women, and the guy in the middle that they called one lucky guy. They don't say that anymore, and the women aren't all not always, but because like I said, Andrea Tantaros used to come on there, and it's like she was auditioning for a husband because she. Or a wife, I don't judge. Remember when Fox at the 5 they called the chair in the end the leg chair, literally, because it was Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Yeah.
Now they have a 70-year-old pantsuit wearing obnoxious judge because I said they've tried it, and I'm sure the movie the scathing movie they did. Asked Megyn Kelly how she felt about Charlize Theron playing her sometime. Didn't help, but and then you get Brett Baer, erect as he calls Arizona for Biden before the.
Neil Cavato.
No, but it was Brett Baer that made the call.
No, but I mean, I'm just saying, Neil Cavato. Also, I confused the two first.
Cavuto's he's finance, but they're not. I mean, they're a shell of their former self. Firing Tucker was just like I said, that was an act of betrayal for a lot of fans that they've never gotten back. I like Gutfeld, but Gutfeld won't stand up for anybody if it's going to cost him a dime. Because it's funny. Who was it? Those like Lisa Booth was on there one night. She said something. She basically made Gutfeld look bad with one of her comments, and Kat said, "Well, that's the last time you'll ever be on." She hasn't been back. Nick Searcy hasn't been on in like 2 years.
Yeah,
because I think he took exception to something Gutfeld. So Gutfeld's got he's got very, very thin skin, and So and that's unfortunate, but I said they are a shell of their former self.
Yeah. Well,
As a network.
I did find it interesting though during the convention, and of course, I think a big part of it was the fact that it came on during Jesse Waters' program, but Fox showed all of Tucker's speech at the convention, and I know a lot of people were expecting Fox to cut away, and they did. So I did find that kind of interesting.
Do you remember when Newt Gingrich was on Outnumbered and he started criticizing George Soros, and Harris Faulkner cut him off and said, "We don't criticize George Soros on this channel."
No, I do not remember.
And they basically censored him for the rest of the hour. That's when I lost all respect for that show. I mean, for that network, because it's obviously come back a little bit now. As far as like you're allowed to mention his name. But speaking of, I saw this. Alex Soros endorses Kamala Harris.
Oh,
He is in charge of the $25 billion family empire. Did you hear what Elon Musk's response was? I'd just like to thank Alexander Soros for not keeping everyone in suspense about who the next puppet would be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely when Reid Hoffman, I saw Hoffman and I saw Soros Jr. and when they both came out with Kamala, I'm like, okay, everybody's lining up for the coronation.
Here's what I want them to actually have running with her. I want the Circle Back girl to be the VP. Yeah,
Jen Psaki.
You know what? What's funny though, for those who are watching the current season of The Boys, the know-it-all girl, the black girl that basically she's like here, Sage. That's she. Whenever I watch her, because how tight and kind of basically of a bitch she is on the characters in the show.
Yeah,
it reminds me of the current press secretary for Biden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who's kind of similar of an idiot and still kind of uptight.
Yeah. So are you current on The Boys then?
I watched 1 through 4 so far. I still got a couple more. Whatever. Okay. I think it was like 8 or 10.
Okay, I was gonna say. So is Starlight still alive? Because I read something yesterday or something that. Yeah, I won't spoil it then for you.
Well, so far in this, she's and I guess I haven't got there, but it's already people have already been talking about because they. After Trump, was it near assassination attemption in The Boys in the comic book, and these people don't realize this. The Boys comic book, the president hated Soups, and he's been fighting for control ever since the 4th of the 7. So there is an assassination attempt on his life in the comic book. So apparently the show did this. I haven't got to it yet, and people are upset. How dare they do that after? It's like. This was planned before that. They're not going to scrap it because an idiot took a shot. Like, can you never do another assassination attempt at anything? And then he does this.
Well, that's always the knee jerk reaction.
Yeah.
To stuff. I mean,
like people think that people thought that this was planned because they knew it was going to happen, so they threw it in there. It's like no, it's not.
Yeah. Well, I have no use for the show, but I commend them for not pulling it because. There have been so many instances in the last 20 years when real life intrudes on entertainment. Like I said, the knee jerk, the overreaction, because no one overreacts more than we do now to any things. But then again, half the country has been raised to be so fragile that it's almost like they have to do it because these people can't cope with anything that's not. Tra-la-la.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I joked about, is Marvel going to have to pull the Captain America New World Order trailer? And then it wasn't more than a day or two later, I saw some article saying basically, combining with The Boys going, are they going to have to postpone The Boys season finale? And is Marvel going to have to pull the Captain America trailer? I'm like,
why does Sam get shot?
I'm guessing if that had happened to Biden, they may have
the trailer. Well, no, there's a scene in there,
but I don't remember anybody getting shot though. But I remember
there's a scene in there where it's kind of like Harrison Ford's president character is speaking like in the round or something, and somebody stands up and takes a shot, and you see glass, shatter kind of thing. So somebody's.
I don't remember that being in the comic books, but then again, it's the MCU. Like you said, and none of these shows should ever apologize or never it's because if you don't like a show, don't watch it. Just stop watching it.
Yeah,
you can make yourself as vocal as you want. It's like, but there, it's the point where people are pissed off if it's good, pissed off if it's bad.
Yeah.
I'm just like, shut up.
But I mean, this has happened. This has happened over the decades where something really serious happens, and then because of taste or not wanting quote unquote offend people, a show gets pulled or gets delayed 2 weeks. In order to distance itself from the event, even though they're not related at all. But
if they really had the balls to do it, I don't think the show would ever would. I don't think Amazon would even do it. The comic book has a 9/11 thing that was caused by the 7.
Mm-hmm.
They caused the thing, everything, and the president there, who was pissed off. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And the 7 were basically bots had sent the 7 in, and they screwed it up, and that caused the planes to crash into there.
In season 1, and then the beginning of the story, and you had the scene where Homelander and what's her name go up to try to save the plane, and they wind up destroying it instead. And it's too late. We can't save anybody.
Also, if in the comic book, the New York Brooklyn Bridge is just by whatever bridge it's by the Trade Centers. There's a bridge there, a real famous bridge. I forget which one it is. It's destroyed because a plane crashed into it, because Homelander itself was doing that, and the plane crashed into it. So it's never been repaired. Now until the end of the very last issue of The Boys they finally start repairing it. And like I said, I don't know where this show is going. And obviously the key in the show is a mutie, I guess you call it, or whatever. She's in the actual comic book, it was a guy who had a stroke. He was Fetterman. And they're using him as a puppet to be the next, he was basically Joe Biden. They're going to make him then be the next. They wanted to get rid of the main conservative, president, to put in their Joe Biden. So that's what the original Boys was. So when I saw Joe Biden go in there, I was like, this is the Boys real life. Literally, they had their way. And
again, I mean, that's been a trope that's been in more than one book. I'm trying to remember. There was another one where, basically it was, to install basically a simpleton as the president, because he was easily controllable, a charismatic moron.
Rager, I'm just saying, I'm just tired of both sides bitching. Like, take a breather, go watch baseball. Or actually, don't go watch baseball. That's horrible. Look at the umpires. Go outside and do something. I don't know. It's just like, it's became where it's like, I got someone who's constantly upset about something, whether it's valid or not. I don't care. It's just like, can we just have an over conversation like we're doing here? Like, this is what I like. I don't need oh, did you hear about this? Fuck that guy. it's
well, getting back to, I said, being so soft, SAWFT.
Soft.
I think reprint books now are airbrushing out the Twin Towers if they have been used in a story.
What they reprinted the Boys?
No, I'm not talking about the Boys. I'm like if they were reprinting, say, a Marvel comic from the 80s, and someone happened to draw a New York scene with the towers, they'll take the towers out. Like, we can't handle the fact that they ever existed. And that's the kind of stuff that drives me nuts. I said, because I said we are just so. I said the one of my favorite things is when Super 70s Sports will post pictures of kids playing playing in playgrounds from like the 70s.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And those things were absolute death traps.
Oh yeah,
but you broke an arm, you scuffed a knee. Once upon a time, we called that growing up. We called that being a kid. Now it's called abuse.
If,
And
Well,
so you can't legislate danger out of people's lives because they're
No.
unprepared for it as they get older.
yeah, no, I realize now it's hilarious. I think about the playground that was at my grade school, and instead of dirt to soften things, I swear to God, I remember it was redwood chips or wood chips that were down
yeah.
at the bottom, and I realized, how did I not come up with like just handfuls of splinters every
Oh my
time
gosh,
I fell on the ground?
You know what the horrible it is? Because elementary school, I was 5 years old by 1990, and then I went into first grade and stuff. The playgrounds had pea gravels on those hot plastic slides that you burn yourself if you're not wearing pants.
Yeah.
Oof. But then by the time I got into like sixth grade, all of a sudden that playground was like, we're replacing the pea gravel with wood chips. I was like,
Oh, I thought you were going to say that by the time you got to sixth grade, you learned to start wearing pants.
no. I still put pants on. I refuse that as American. I don't wear pants.
Did you get that from the channel boss?
Yeah, the channel boss.
And we had the monkey bars and all that.
Do you know whatever happened? Do you think they just melted all those down? Because
probably,
I guarantee you, there's not a monkey bar in any playground in America now.
There still is at my old elementary school. So there, it's they're not the metal ones anymore. They're like that like plastic, whatever they have now. They have these weird new ones, like fiberglass or whatever the heck they are. But like,
if you can't burn your hands on it, what good are they? Damn it!
So the one I liked is it was like a jungle gym. It basically is a spiral like that, and then the top. And we used to just take bets like, dude, I dare you to jump this high. He's like, I could jump this high. I did it. I sprained my ankle.
Yeah, I'm gonna segue over to something that this channel used to talk about. Vangman, how many books are you picking up this week?
Oh, actually, yeah. After 2 hours, we're finally talking about comics.
Well, hey,
the comic channel.
The name of it is Random Sunday Hangout. So
I know.
I don't even know what's coming out this week.
Let me look in. I gotta sign in.
Might be the best new comic book day in
I gotta ask
months.
Does anybody know that something that's killing the children is still coming out?
Who cares?
Well,
I don't know.
I'm just gonna say this for new books.
While you're looking, so you liked Redcoat #4?
Yeah, I liked it. Now I know what you're gonna say because it's like, well,
spoilers.
Here's this
George
thing.
Washington is the bad guy.
Okay,
but we don't know if it really is him or not.
Well, tell me what you think, and then I'll tell you what I think.
Can I say this really quickly? Before you can do that, Sean Gordon Murphy's what was that one? The time traveling plot holes.
Yeah.
What they did with him there was worse than what I'm seeing here so far.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. I think George Washington is the bad guy. I think they're positioning to where Benedict Arnold was the actual hero. But here's the thing. It's a story. Now, I'm on record saying a lot of it has to do with who produces the work. If Tom Taylor writes this, I'm fuck you, Redcoat, I'm out. Yeah. Because I know how Tom Taylor actually believes. Jeff Johns is a skilled writer. If Ed Brubaker were writing this, I would trust him to stick the landing. Because it's a story that swerves away from actual history and does something different. But do I believe in my heart that Jeff Johns thinks that George Washington was evil and that Benedict Arnold was no, because once upon a time you could separate fiction from reality. I don't think, like I said, the Tom Taylors and these DEI writers can't. They're not good enough. They're not nuanced enough. Yeah. I trust.
Well, this is also an alternate. This is an alternate Earth that is kind of set up. So I accept that, and the way that's being written, the idea of the acts of lies, the fact that oh no, Washington. The story of Washington telling the truth isn't actually quite true. That he actually told the lie.
Well, I don't think
land confiscated.
It's fiction.
Yeah.
Here's my question. Wasn't the whole trap into cherry town? Wasn't that also does a tall tale?
It probably was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm getting well. The qualifier is I saw Nexus again. Now they're soliciting number 5. So okay, they've solicited 4. It didn't come out. Then 5. It didn't come out. Then 4 and 5 together. They didn't come out. Then now it's back up to 5. I think they forgot about 4. Probably won't come out. But if it does, I think I'm picking up 9 books this week.
I've got about 16.
And yeah, I'm out of Marvel and DC. So, but it's a great week for indies.
Do you want to share, Vinkman? Do you want to share the screen of what's coming out this week? Because I have no idea what's coming out this week.
Well, I can share you my pull list. If you want to see you guys my entire pull list first, and then I'll go over the books.
Yeah, we can see your pull list.
Defeats the purpose of Tuesday night, but you guys will forget anyway.
Yeah,
it's like
they'll be back for next week,
right? Right. Everybody will be back.
Yeah. Now, did either of you guys read Witchblade #1?
I read a little bit.
I looked through it. It looked not good.
The art looked fine. I've read Burks with the worst art. Do you remember? I remember you saying the art was not that good. Well, I'd say it's a lot better than when I Phil Country Johnson, James Bond art. I was, not reading that book.
Yeah. No, I was pleasantly surprised. While Sarah Pazzini didn't have much of a figure, that when she becomes Witchblade, that she grows. I mean, I thought the art was decent. I thought the story was I guess elongated might be the right word for it. To me, it seemed like a story that should have only taken like 10 pages, took up the entire book.
Right.
I was like, okay.
So, books coming up this week. We got Ultimate Black Panther, which I am pulling this week. Something is Killing the Children, number 39. Is anybody reading this? I already know anybody.
I'm not a big horror fan, so I never started.
I started it, but I faded out. I wasn't buying it, unfortunately, because the first issue is worth a ton.
Was Skip the only one person? I remember someone was reading it. Was it Skip?
Skip, yeah.
Okay, because I don't ever hear anybody talking about it, even myself.
Well, it was hot as a $2 pistol at the beginning, but that's the problem with an industry that is just on its last legs. There's not enough people around to sustain the hype on something, whether it deserves it or not.
All right, but I am enjoying the Ultimate Black Panther. That's what's his name? Brian Edward Hill. Green Arrow, I dipped out a long time ago. I just don't care. It's sorry,
And it's an absolute power tie-in. So
it is. We got Void Ravels coming out, and then we got, hey, look, the Flash family broke up. She's still depressed. 11 issues in.
It's about time she starts sleeping with Mr. Terrific, isn't it?
Well, that'd be terrific, wouldn't it?
Well, that was my prediction from issue 1. It's going to happen.
She's going to sleep with the Pied Piper, who's gay.
Yeah.
Adventures of the Moon Knight, I'm picking that up. Mark's back. Turtles. That's the new one that's coming out this, brand new series. It's Aaron Sparrow. It's Jason Aaron. That's what it is. Yeah,
Jason Aaron.
Trying to lead a little.
It was Aaron Sparrow, but
it'd be great. Deadpool, Wolverine. Zach was getting that. I wasn't. Rogue Exodus. It's been picking up.
Yeah, you're not getting Harley Quinn number 42.
We get somebody else on there.
Oh, did you see? I don't know if it was from the most recent Harley Quinn book or if it was from some other DC book. Did you see the art going around of the 2 left hands on the gun?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was kind of hilarious. You started staring at it, you just couldn't look away. So somebody basically had the barrel of a handgun pointed at the back of Harley's head, and so gripping.
Was it cover?
So no, interior. So you have the left hand like this, and then you could see one finger like this, but then the pistol was. But
there was one where the thumb was below the gun. It was weird.
But the finger on the trigger was a left hand. So it was like, okay, you've got a left hand here, and then you've got left hand, right hand, left hand,
Well,
fingers.
who's
It
been
was
the
an
artist?
impossible.
Natasha.
I don't know. I don't know who the artist is. I don't know what the book was. I just saw it. Somebody posted it on Twitter, going, tell me when you spot the problem.
Oh my gosh!
What
Well,
the
first
fuck kind of name is Sweeney Boo?
One that wants attention.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's one of the alternate cover artists for Harley
Yeah.
Quinn.
I think she's an editor, actually. I don't
She
know.
does a lot of that. Oh, God.
Zatanna, no one cares.
Yeah,
Anybody read
very,
King Spawn?
very much who cares.
Nope.
I haven't read it. I've got most of the issues. I just haven't gotten around to reading it. Something I read that
the only King Spawn I read, and I still own, is the very first one. They relaunched this.
Yeah.
They relaunched the series, and I think I might have got. No, actually, that is there a normal Spawn book going that's not called King Spawn?
Yeah, the main Spawn book's still going. You've got Spawn, you've got King Spawn, you've got Gunslinger
I
Spawn.
read something that was Spawn 300. Is that what it was? This came out a couple months ago.
It could be. So hey, good night, Rhaegar. Oh, R&B is live. Cool.
What's R&B?
Robert Meyer Burnett.
No idea who that is.
I thought it was Rhythm and Blues. My bad.
Yeah. No, he's been like a film producer, and he's a real big TV and film guy and critic. Good guy.
Captain America, I dropped that shit because it got horrible, real fast, and
yeah,
especially when I found out who was.
That's been a disappointment. I was really looking forward to the J. Michael Straczynski run.
The first few issues were good, and just like Ta-Nehisi Coates, the first couple issues were great, and then it went straight into the gutter.
Well, I don't know that they were great. I knew the series was on shaky ground when Doctor Strange was written like Benedict Cumberbatch. And now I understand it just went way off the rails, as did the writer.
Yeah.
So, just another failed Captain America.
Wolverine Blood Hunt's been pretty cool. I've been enjoying that. It's by a writer who basically was working on I think it was Teenage Mutant Turtles stuff. Well, but yeah. And Sacrifice, I'm not reading. What the heck is this shit here?
I am stunned by that cover.
Yeah.
That's such a bad book.
Yeah, but that's. I said I'm surprised that DC would publish that, because the audience they're going after is not going to appreciate that, and the people that would still aren't going to buy the book.
Especially the fact that she's answering the door for a guy.
Right.
So,
and she has her gay best friend back there, right?
Yeah. Well, the sociopath. Omen is a sociopath, and it's unbelievable. And I swear that Omen is the self-insert character of Leah Williams.
I'm curious. Let's see what the other covers look like coming up. There's got to be much more. There's this one that goes here. The boob. Look at the boob; it gets bigger.
This book cannot end soon enough.
And look, there's her boyfriend as the knight, and there's the evil witch.
Yeah, her boyfriend.
But look at it; it got bigger. Her boobs are just getting bigger and bigger each issue.
Yeah, well, that's definitely an alternate cover.
Can I ask a question? Because you guys read more modern comics than I do from the big two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to make me sound like a pick and ist, but on the rare occasion that a female character is straight and has a boyfriend, if the girl is white, is there even a 1% chance that her boyfriend is too in modern comics?
I want to say,
or is it like TV commercials?
There is, and that's been Dick Grayson and Barbara.
Are they a couple?
They've been a couple, but now Bruce Wayne is Nightwing because I guess Dick Grayson's missing or something. I don't know. It's just like, what is this shit like?
Oh, that photo cover on Absolute Power Origins is just cringe. Oh God,
is that the actress from the show?
I have no idea, and I don't care. The last thing I want, a Waller year one. Oh God. Please make it stop. Make it stop.
But anyway,
I don't need.
I saw this. Oh, look, it's Batman 66, kind of like, and then I was like, it's Mark Russell.
Oh, it is. Is it? Because that's a Mike Allred cover.
Yeah,
Mike,
Allred,
Mike
yeah.
and Mark do a lot together, and that I feel bad for Mike, but maybe he
Yeah.
$6 for Mark Russell.
no,
Yeah.
that's 7 too much.
Well, and actually, I mean, what shocks me is I'm surprised that Mark Russell would work with Mike Allred, because Mike Allred is a well-known Mormon, and I have to
But he's
believe
not. But he's not a conservative, though.
they have differing political views, but
I'm not.
maybe not.
I am no fan of Mark Russell, but I did respect that he took the time to give Jimmy an hour to an hour long interview when Jimmy had like 50 subscribers at the time. It was before the Dan Slott incident.
Yeah.
So and he came across a tad smug, but he went on there. So that was I at least respect that.
I remember in that chat though when Jimmy had problems with his internet issues, he kind of just talked to the chat.
No, that was Brian Edward Hill that did that.
Oh, okay.
We also got to interview him. Yeah, and Hill just took over, and I respect that. And I was a big Brian Hill fan until he started getting real combative with anybody that wasn't a far leftist on Twitter. And that kind of it's not. I didn't expect him to have my political views.
Yeah.
But for him to be just overtly hostile to people that didn't agree with him was kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creature from Black Lagoon. If you're not reading that, that's been fun. Ramsey and
it's been fun adjacent.
Fun adjacent.
Well, it's good, but it could have been better, and we've talked about this. I'm not bashing some.
Are you saying you have the same love for the Creature from Black Lagoon lives as you do for the Reds?
I'm gonna say I said this is the second one of these series. Dracula was infinitely superior to this. This one just kind of had a nice setup in issue 1 and then just stopped going anywhere. Yeah. So it's just I said it's been kind of a disappointment. Not enough to drop the book, but
Conan Barbarian
to wrap up.
Conan Barbarian is back with a new story arc after the Black Spire stuff and the call. I haven't been reading this, but I've been reading the main story. But Doom wants to basically be the new Sorcerer Supreme, and I guess Marvel was hinting that he was gonna take over as Sorcerer Supreme. Doom was.
Yeah,
but I'm like, I don't really care for that. I don't need it.
Well, they've hinted at that before.
But Doom doesn't need it though. Doom's all powerful. Why would he need the Agamotto, all that stuff? Yeah. Feral, if you're not reading that, Creators of Street Dogs, Tony Fleeks has been fun. Venom Separation Anxiety, that is David Micheline. I've just been having fun with that too as well. And not reading these, Six Fingers or No One. Venomverse, you can skip that crap.
Yeah.
Local Man has been fun. I'm not the biggest Tim Seeley fan. But they've been just fun. It's been like a 90s throwback book. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello Darkness might be worth picking up.
I'm looking at this because Garth Ennis. I don't care about Becky Cloonan or James Tynion, but Brian Azzarello is on there too as well.
Well,
so it's basically an anthology book.
Yes.
James Tynion will be about a teen or preteen gay kid.
And it's a $6 book, anthology book. So
it's 50 pages. So that's, given how expensive books are now, that's not bad. It's double issue.
So I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah. Well, I believe that might be part of the final arc of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because I know my understanding is Boom Studios is lost or is losing the Power Rangers license.
So I wonder if it's going where it's going to. Well,
don't know, but yeah. So yeah, that's something.
He lost the plot when you have a tiger that's a Power Ranger.
Yeah, so it still makes me curious. I'm not exactly sure why or what Random House is buying by buying Boom Studios. I'm not sure what they're really getting out of it.
Current titles they have right now. There was a popular one other than Power Rangers. There was another popular one that was going on.
Yeah, but I mean that's the whole thing though. They've got a ton. They've got more license or have more licensed books. They don't really have a lot of their own IP to kind of
I don't know.
explore.
Maybe the guy who sold Boom will just take the money and go start up another company. Who knows?
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Epic, something epic. It's been fun. Simon Krzyzewski, he did the Town Called Terror. Epitaph from the Abyss, you can kind of skip.
No, that's the thing I'm most looking forward to.
Isn't that the one that's going to be all woke?
No, that's the EC. That's the EC first EC type book in 70 years.
Yeah,
I heard
but
that they're launching it.
Don't you know who's got a story in it?
Yeah.
Do we want to spoil it?
No, they did give
Stephanie
somebody
Phillips.
Stephanie Phillips, of course they did.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Oh, I thought Mags had a story in one of the
Mark
the next one.
Mark, the guy that I worked with, met the guy in charge of this.
Yeah.
At that trade show up in Pittsburgh, and he said all the right things, like that he's read all the ECs. Now, what I'm curious about is how they'll format it, because most EC books were basically 6-panel, grids, 7 to 8 pages, with the exception of like early crime suspense. Like the early issues actually some of them did have splash pages, but I'm curious. I just saw Chris Condon come up too. So like I said, I mean, I have high hopes for this. I hope I'm not disappointed.
Yeah.
I've also
Stephanie Phelps is probably going to be a really small story, so that's not a big deal. And I mean, it'll. Jason Holtham, God, I recognize the name.
Marvel Voices, isn't it?
Well, I'm sure he's had a Marvel Voices. I want to say he did like a Black Panther book or something like that. I can't remember.
You know what Bryson Allen looks like? He looks like the biker guy from Tulsa King.
Yeah.
Well, I said hopefully.
It's also funny that both Brian Azzarello and Stephanie Phillips have stories in the same book.
A lot of comments.
You know they're an item, right?
Well, who's that?
Brian Azzarello and Stephanie Phillips.
What?
Apparently so. Yes.
What?
Well, yeah, I know she's not dating him for his money.
Oh no, I have started to come around to the idea that the reason why Stephanie Phillips gets so many books is that her father promises or guarantees that he'll buy the minimum to cover the cost of the book.
Could be, but I said I am really fingers crossed. This, like I said, I mean, you just looking at that cover, it's like, man, I want this to be good.
Yeah,
it needs to be good.
Jay Holtham wrote the most recent Night Thrasher one-shot or series.
You know what this looks like? This reminds you of when I see this leg like that?
The thing?
No. We just read that the first night. Batman. The guys, the inmates are coming back to life. They're being zombified. They all look like this. They have all the pussy like little things. So gross though. Blech.
Yep. Okay, back to the list.
And I'll just say this: these are probably two white liberals that don't have guns.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
What's the price on that?
$5.
Okay, so and then Dick Tracy. That first 2 issues have been solid.
Yep.
Okay.
Berserker's back, but it's Jason Aaron. You can skip.
Yep.
As much as I love Salvador Larocco, but I'm like, it's Jason Aaron on there though.
Yeah. Oh, Uncanny Valley #4, book of the week, guaranteed, right there. That you talk about a fun, just
well, there you go. Boom Studios.
whacked out story.
What are they getting? They're getting Local Man. They're getting Pharaoh. All the Tony Fleet books are getting.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be interesting then. If he sticks with
Spawn kills every Spawn. What the hell?
That's interesting. That almost sounds like it should be a Sergio Aragones book.
I don't know. It just sounds weird to me. It sounds like a Marvel thing.
Well, it sounds like
Layman.
John Layman. Okay, what happens? You find out you're not the only Hellspawn. Cool, Hellspawn easy. You kill them all.
Well, that would have killed any interest I would have had.
What, John Layman?
Yes.
Oh,
He has been writing the Scorch. It's actually been fun. I've been enjoying it for
Well,
Scorch.
glad to hear you guys.
And he also took over from the feminist that was writing the 2019 Buffy the Vampire Slayer and made the book more right leaning.
yeah.
Well, it
didn't he
would.
do
It,
two?
well, if it's right leaning, someone's ghostwriting it for him because now this was several years ago. But
Well,
like,
I would say it's probably more right leaning because the fact that it was so far left, it's back to the center.
I said when we first started fighting this culture bullshit, he was very vocal about it. You know, one of the people I said, if you disagree with him, you were rhymes with Yahtzee, and his talent just didn't match at the time. His talent, didn't match his, mouth.
Yeah. Well, I'd say he's not the best writer, but I'm saying it's still a decent story.
Yeah. But
Flash
no,
Gordon this week?
Uncanny Valley, if you guys haven't been reading that, check it out, especially if you're a fan of 70s and 80s cartoons. It is so much goddamn fun.
Army of Darkness Forever, I gave up on that about after issue 4 or issue 5. I just got so bored of it.
That's our boy writing Flash Gordon, right?
Yes.
No, I was saying, who is doing Flash Gordon?
Jeremy Adams.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Tony Fleeks has been writing Army of Darkness Forever, and it's a take on it. You remember the ending of Army of Darkness where he wakes up in the far future? That's that story. They're continuing it. Tony Fleeks is.
Okay.
But it's
super massive.
Power Rangers.
No, it's Image.
I know it's Image Power Rangers. It's they've had that other book. I forget what it's called, but this is like the team book of that, I guess. Radiant Black.
Oh, it's part of that whole Radiant Black universe. Oh, jeez, wow,
they built it into a thing.
They built it into a universe.
So Kyle Higgins has been doing it with Ryan Parrott, and also got Matt Groom on there, and Melissa Flores. Melissa Flores was just did the Biker Mice from Mars issue that came out last week, which actually was a decent story.
Hey, Vank, did you already pass up Nemesis?
Not yet. Spoiler.
So I guess this isn't by sales then. Otherwise,
no,
Mart's in real trouble.
It's right there.
Okay.
Well, I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked though that Nemesis is this far down, because the fact that so many people say, "Oh my God, it's just evil Batman," blah blah blah. It's always
that has nothing to do with whether or not people are going to buy this, because it says Mark Miller. This is this first Dark Horse book. I said if this is based on orders, that's a red flag, because this is way, way down.
Yeah. Okay, you got to click on it. What the hell is Marvel Zero, and why would I want to pay $6.99
Marvel Zero
for it?
is this? They've taken books already out, and they're just giving you like a trade format. That's what I probably think it is.
Second chance to not care about what you didn't care about before.
Exactly. That's what I think it is.
Oh, I'm on
Deluxe edition collecting Marvel's gold to toward free comic book day titles. See?
What the hell? So wait, hold on a second. Collecting Free Comic Book Day, Blood Hunt, X-Men, Free Comic Book Day, Ultimate Universe, Spider-Man. Are you freaking kidding me that they're taking free books?
But do you remember they said last
together and charging people $7 for it?
They did this last year. Okay. I say that, and it was just basically the free comic books. This is the second year they've done it. It's over. They've been doing this crap. And I will say this: some of the shops I've been to, you're only allowed to take so many. You're not allowed to grab as many as you want.
Yeah. So
limited. So like, there's times where I'm like, oh, I wanted to get that, that book, and then it's like it's already gone by the time I get there. It sucks, or the shop didn't order it. So like, it's okay. It's okay. Anywhere. Remember, Spider-Man's also at my shop. Spider-Man's anything that do event or Spider-Man, for whatever reason, the free comic book days are always freaking just gone. Like, was it last year they had something with Spider-Man? But it was like, I forgot what it was, Al Ewing on Venom, and it was someone else with Spider-Man, and it just sold or it just got it didn't sell, but I mean like it was gone. Like, so I don't know. It's I can understand if they're trying to appeal to people who missed out on this, but I'm like, I'm
Okay,
good.
fine. Then charge $2.99 for it, or $3.99. To charge $7.
No, they need to pick up the sales of people who aren't buying these.
Insane.
Yeah.
Is insane.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
And then they have the connecting covers or version covers. Yeah, people can buy.
God. I pity anybody who actually spends money on that book.
I got all these for free.
Disgusting. That is disgusting. Yep.
That's exactly what.
Exactly. Get this straight. Yes. Good grief.
Seems like an odd choice of words in describing a modern comic.
Yeah, right. Get these straight.
Yeah. Back to the list. Yeah. Okay. Nemesis. That would definitely be one to pick up.
I love this cover for Governors of the Universe. But it's Tim Sheridan.
Yeah.
This is what I've been looking at. The Big Burn. Have you guys heard of this?
No, because it's distillery, so nobody has it.
Exactly. I was gonna go to my shop and see if they can order it, because I know they probably won't have it. But I was like,
nominated creative team of Skyward.
Look at this. That's Luke Perry on the right. Tell me it's not, and that's Aquaman. But it's a new Owen and Carly are the Bonnie and Clyde of the 21st century. A smooth, slick duo who pull off impossible heights and have the time of their lives doing it. But when justice finally catches up to them, they think it's all over until the devil himself offers them a deal, their freedom for their souls. But they soon find without their souls, their love is missing too. So they set out to recruit a crew of the damned for the ultimate heist. Break into hell, steal their souls back. Joan Anderson from Skyward and Shadecraft. And also he worked on Netflix Lucifer. And then Lee Garrett from Skyward, Loki, Uncanny Spider-Man invites you on a thrilling journey to hell.
Lee Garrett's done a bunch of stuff. He was a regular artist on either Captain Marvel or...
So they say right here, for fans of Ocean 11, Inception, Lucifer, and Out of Sight.
Yeah.
Is this oversized?
45 pages for $9.
No. I like in
magazine.
It's magazine size.
Yeah, magazine.
Okay, so to say otherwise, I'd rather have a good deal like paying for a free comic book day.
Right, cheaper.
But this kind of looks good. If the art and inside matches the cover, I may.
Cover artist is Lee Garrett. So imagine he's probably the interior artist as well.
He's decent. He did some good work on one of the Captain Marvel series. But if you go back to the list,
did he manage to keep her chest flat as mandated by Marvel?
No, there was a little bit of definition. I thought
this is Marvel though. This is sorry.
No, but is that why he was taken off the book?
Probably. But no, if you're not reading Blood Squad 7, dude, you're missing out.
Yeah.
You go back to the list. Yeah, Blood Squad 7, number 3. Yes. So I don't know. Did you read Dutch from Joe Kelly?
Who? What?
No.
Dutch.
Okay.
I've watched the movie.
I'm sorry, Joe Casey, not Joe Kelly. Joe Casey. No, this is all tying back to 90s Rob Liefeld Image characters, and it's free.
Oh, so there's no feet.
No, actually, because the art is good. There are feet. So this is basically trying to create, essentially bring together a new team that's headed by one of the members of the old team, who now is basically a government agent.
It's the new that works.
Joe Casey's doing just some awesome stuff. Honestly, if you want to say, it's a little bit boyish, because
what's up, Manny?
because the characters in the team are all a little bit odd. And so yeah, I've just enjoyed the heck. Well, I thought Dutch was great, and then seeing a follow up on this is just a blast. I mean, if you like '90s Image, go check these out. It's a lot of fun.
You know, it'd be even more fun to get that next book of a Skunk Girl, Manny. Been waiting a while. Now they know you're alive. I want Skunk Girl.
Oh, it was Manny that did Unbreathable Skunk Girl. Okay,
Yeah.
that's been sitting in my box for quite a while.
Right?
I like,
you're like, when's the next one? He said, well, when the economy gets better. So Trump better win.
Especially, I was shocked by the turn that the book got, because I initially was thinking it was going to be more of kind of a satire on Squirrel Girl, and it was like, oh, this is not a nice person.
Well, the thing that kills me is I know that Manny he has like the next book's pretty much like already written, I guess.
Yeah.
And like done. He's just waiting to release them, so, not at such a crappy time so he makes money.
Yeah.
Unless he's changed his mind, he's just like, I'm done.
Yeah. Well,
Manny, you need to jump on a stream again at time, and I want to start doing those drawing streams. So get you back on here.
You need to reach out to Tim and Doug Ernst, man.
Right? Can you imagine Manny doing
get it in the Iconics Comics pipeline?
Oh yeah, I just want Manny just doing like ultimate variant covers for them. It'd be fun.
Yeah. I did not hear about a Tremors comic book, MK.
I don't think I really want a Tremors comic book. It's like,
well, again, it all depends on who's doing it. What's the storyline? What's the idea behind it?
There's only 2 Tremors movies.
Well, I noticed we're really far down the list here, and something that I'm looking forward to still hasn't come up, and I'm wondering if it's even selling enough to finish.
Well,
Self-help.
Yep. The next one's coming out. That's been a fun book.
Yeah.
The guy basically, Well, I don't want to spoil it for you. You should make him read it.
Well, I'm gonna say I'm not sure what this list is sorted on, but it's definitely not by number of copies sold, because here you've got One Piece and My Hero Academia. So, and I guarantee you those are selling more than anything else.
This is by number of poll lists. People's poll lists.
Okay.
Remember, it's also Sunday, so a lot of people probably haven't really had their poll list. And then again, I don't know how many people are actually on this website anymore.
Okay, did you know about self-help?
No.
This hugely successful motivational speaker looks just like this deadbeat cab driver. Well, I shouldn't say deadbeat, but a cab driver, like nothing ever really goes right for him.
Yeah.
And they, of course, the self-help guy is a real prick when the cameras aren't rolling. But he gets in the guy's cab and they start, commiserating. Yeah, life's this, that, blah, blah. And then they wreck, and the self-help guy is badly injured. And so the other guy, who up to this point had come across as a nice guy, basically just leaves him there to die. But I guess he's going to take him over. And of course, he's not going to die, but, so it's like, they're both dicks. So
it's kind of, anyone it reminds you of, like a Tales of the Crypt movie or a TV show episode. You take over the guy's life, and then
it kind of does. I mean,
when you think he's dead, he comes back, and it's oh shit.
Yeah, well, it reminds me a little bit. Did either of you guys read Knighted?
No.
Okay. Long story short, it's basically a book. Guy who worked for a police department, but was a bit of a dweeb. Is out. Gets caught up in something. The Batman analog hero comes through to save the day. Turns out he's a real asshole. Basically, the guy kind of trips, falls, breaks his neck, dies. He picks up the communicator, and suddenly, basically, the Alfred guy's going, "Okay, take the body over here, put it in the car, come with me."
Oh yeah, I love that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it was AWA.
Yeah,
I read that in the store. Fantastic series.
Yeah, the kind parts of this remind me of that a little bit. So yeah, it would be interesting to check out.
Yep, and his assistant basically becomes suspicious because the guy's addicted to his assistant, and apparently this guy Jerry does not know that probably. So it's like he starts acting nice to them. And it's like they're gonna like, what the hell's wrong with you? Why are you being nice to me? And then he's also and this is an off his rocker Finnish gangster has a hungry panther in his backyard. It's like Jerry will be lucky to get away from this with his con in his life. Because that's the thing. You assume like, I think this guy's life's got a lot better. Then you find out this guy's life sucks just as much as yours does, But yeah, Resident Alien's been. If you've been following that, basically this series is that she's pregnant now with Harry. The aliens baby. That's basically it's a 4-issue miniseries, and it's very serious, unlike the actual show.
Oh, careful there, Harry.
Yeah. Winnie the Pooh is back in Demon Hunter #1.
Oh, that's interesting because Zenoscope had a Winnie the Pooh.
Pooh,
not too long ago,
and he was hunting demons, wasn't he?
I know what he was hunting or what he was after.
It was Pooh versus something. I don't know, but
yeah. Pooh versus Piglet. Final confrontation. Who knows?
right.
I'd read that. Texas death match.
Right.
Yeah. What is the addiction death of your life?
I've been wanting to click on it because I've been seeing these covers, but it's from other studios. I don't know
what that is.
Release is July 24th.
Let's see. She can drug you with her touch for daring to help recovering addicts with radical success. Dr. Nikki Tino was shot up with a cocktail of drugs by a New York City drug cartel capo to put her out of business. Nikki died and was reborn with stunning new chemical powers. Now haunted by the trauma of her rebirth, she struggles to master the touch.
Nicotine. Oh.
It's okay. It sounds a little bit like is it Painkiller Jane?
Yeah, and basically the cartel wants her blood to steal her power, to the power. So I've never heard of David Quinn. Don't know what it is.
Don't know either.
Yeah,
doesn't even say who the distributing this or who's putting it out. Yeah, what company? Everybody's asking what company. Don't know.
Oh, well, she's all over this. She was also bitching about the free comic book day $8 price tag.
Oh, I just realized this is the Archum cover. That's what this is. This is Archum 1. So
I thought they listed the cover artist below there.
It says Stanley Lau, but Stanley Lau isn't that Archum? It says ARTGM. Yeah.
Well, how about that?
Yeah.
You know what that tells me? That Vincent Zerzolo probably not great. If you're spending that much on the cover art, you probably didn't. And since nobody's heard of the company, doubt they had a whole lot of money left. They have a David Mack cover.
Yeah, David Mack here.
Yeah, I have a feeling the interior is going to be terrible.
Tom Barhart, yeah. This is the other Mad Cave Studios one that the blood is dried. I haven't read that. Looks like fantasy stuff. Project Crypto. We get the Oya comics. Here's Massive though. Ram God. I gotta click on it. Oh no. Ram God works on the Dude Ranch. Feature of the most dangerous sport, discovered new player. All right, Ram God follows Clint Bowler, a former troubled star athlete turned near B cop, and tries to balance his life duly responsibilities as a cop and a father. But his teenage son Malcolm wants nothing to do with him. That is until Clint is recruited by Malcolm's favorite team, the world's most dangerous sport, Ram God. Or yes. After a video of him chasing a perpetrator goes viral, With a second shot at his dreams, a chance to find common ground with his son, Clint's future is looking bright, but looks can be deceiving. In New York City,
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds a little rollerballish, and I don't mean the good rollerball.
nah, could be.
But yeah,
Get two writers, brothers, like that. Yeah.
No, Kanan White's on the art. That would be interesting. Should be at least competent.
Yep. David Mack cover. Yep. Again, we got full covers, and then they got what's this?
Good God.
Tony Kent. Is that an Uso? That's good.
Somebody's saying it was pushed back 2 months.
Oh, that's what happens. I was hoping it was being like some kind of like sport game.
No.
That gets you. You getting this at all, Breen?
What's that?
The X Babies?
No.
I get it.
I've got about 20, maybe 25 back issues, alter egos, and
You're behind.
Yeah, and the other one, the pop culture one, retro fan. Yeah, so I've got to really be interested in Next Babies. Is not that.
Oh, come on.
There's the Nexus.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Nexus Paper Strips, Volume 2, The Battle for Thrinrold.
Look, it's Brian Polito with a new
Coffin Comics, Lady Satanus. Nice.
It's basically
Nice
just Satana.
Yeah. Looks the cover's nice. Nothing else.
Yeah, that's about it. Planet Fire.
From Antarctic.
I remember reading this, Rivers of London, Stray Cat Blues. But apparently there was one before this, is called Rivers of London. But then we get into the weird stuff here. The game.
Yeah.
That's
all the way down. Catwoman, the Legacy Cowl, #1. What the hell is that? Is that a Black Label or an Elseworlds?
Well, it says $0. Oops, why is it? Oh crap! I hit the button. I lost my spot in here. it's gonna kick me out.
No. There's there loading reviews.
Fans of down.
Something about fans of the blockchain.
Digital blockchain comics. Clipbo's going to enjoy the launch of Candy Digital's next chapter, original blockchain comic. Yeah. Thursday, July 5th, San Diego Comic Con and the Candy Digital platform will include variant covers starting at 12 p.m.
Oh, F off.
And it's a John Boy Myers cover, too. Look, I can right-click Save As.
Okay, who are the creators? Kevin. Okay, I don't recognize any of the names. Good luck.
Right. I'm gonna scroll down again because it lost my spot. And here's the other thing: I gotta take the freaking variants off. The variants make it seem like there's like a ton of books coming out, but normally they're just like the same books from like 3 weeks ago. The new variant cover.
All right.
It drives me nuts. Where are we at?
Here. Okay, I'm almost there. There we are. Not too bad.
Benny and Veronica keeps coming out with Jumbo Comics. I don't know if these are just collection. These are library, right? So they must be the collection of the original stuff.
That's got to be collections of old stuff.
And then you get Man, Goat, and Bunny Man. Beware of the Pig Man.
Yeah.
All right. Danny O'Neill, tomorrow's comic book creator.
That would be interesting.
All right.
The Beetle in Spanish.
Right, it's so far down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting into manga stuff here.
It's probably the only Zenoscope book I saw.
There's a lot of cool trades coming out this week, though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not a bad week. I didn't really see that much like Marvel stuff. So, yeah.
This is what I'm pulling. The Tim Drake Compendium book.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going for that Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow Deluxe hardcover edition.
No. The first I go is Supergirl and Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah. No, it's a crap story, and
I'll just watch True Grit. I don't need to.
Yeah.
So speaking of
crap stories.
No, that's see Wes's video today about somebody on one of those shill sites did an article saying how continuity doesn't matter and it's never mattered.
Yeah.
And it put me in the unusual position of agreeing with George R. Martin because he said basically without continuity, there's no point.
Yeah.
But couldn't help but thinking because the Tim Drake thing made me think is those same people that screech that continuity doesn't matter. I bet it would if anybody tried to write Tim Drake straight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
no,
30
again,
years of continuity wouldn't matter. But those last two sure would.
And yeah, here let me share a screen real quick because I just saw something funny on Twitter X.
Go ahead.
Hopefully this will come through. Oops, help if I
Would you do? Yeah. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Have many meanings, and sometimes instead of conveying our meaning, they can suggest other meanings.
When we talk about the children of the community, they are a children of the community.
Well, we are the United States of America because we are united. And we are states.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
Whatever we have in store cannot be known. The past was once the future. The future is, I should say, unknown.
We got to take this stuff seriously as you are, because you have been forced to have to take it seriously.
Obesity is a serious disease, and it needs to be taken seriously.
You need to get to go and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home.
I hope that clarifies the issue, and this can be the last word on those words.
Certain issues are just settled.
Clearly, we're not.
Oh, that's right. And that's why I do believe that we are living, sadly, in real unsettled times.
Yes, Kamala is Veep come to life, and this will be fantastic.
Boy, I tell you what, that's going to be a tough sell if they fortify this election.
Oh yeah, again, one of the whole keys right now is, can they get it down to where the polls are saying it's a 1 to 2 point race, because then it's close enough to.
Well, they'll just doctor the polls. Absolutely, they will.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, they need to think real long and hard about that, because, as I said, if after everything that's happened, we wake up on the 6th with a President Harris or President Shapiro or that's going to tell a whole lot of people that they've truly got nothing left to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Anyway, on that note, I think I'm going to head out, gentlemen.
Yeah, we probably should wrap this up. It's almost 3 hours. Oh my God, it's almost.
Well, we had time to get to Gilligan's Island.
Yeah,
we'll be fine.
So, all right. Well, hey, my voice held out for 3 hours of fun and frivolity. So
now we won't see you for another week.
Maybe not. We'll see. So, I had the pleasure of trying to fix the CD changer today, and I was able to change the belts and hooked everything back up, and I screwed something up. So,
CD changer. Why don't you just use Spotify like everyone else does?
No,
the times, old man.
I have
digital.
I have this great Sony SACD 5 CD changer that I love. That was part of my whole home entertainment setup. And then had it in storage for a few years, and one of the belts basically just disintegrated and almost melted essentially, and the other one went away, and I knew that, but taking it apart, oh my God. I mean, I've never taken apart anything like this, and you had to take it all apart to be able to get to the second belt that was at the bottom of the drive. So it was like trying to, pull pins out, pull these ribbons out. And I think what happened is that one of the ribbons, because again, being so old, that kind of a piece of the metal connector or something flaked off, and I think that's what's causing the problem, because when I turn it on now, the changer just spins around. I don't get a display. And it's like, oh.
Get this 500 one, so you can put 500 discs in there and it just rotates.
Oh yeah, no, but this was. You remember the SACD format?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Super Audio CD format. Yeah, this is a 5-disc player that did the SACD format. So
I remember my boombox, like you had that, you could have the 5, in there, but you also had like the 2 deck drives, tape deck drives, and you could record from CD onto a tape if you want to. And I was like, yay, let's go backwards. I was like, this was the stupidest thing ever.
The CD player in my car stopped working, and that is trauma.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that the car I have now has you can hook up your phone up to it and stuff. It's all basically all Apple Play stuff. So I bought an MP3 player to put all my songs I want to onto it, and I just plugged it into the USB drive, and I can just listen to my MP3 player. It was like, instead of like cigarette lighter, cassette tape, like you had to do back in the day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I remember that having the cassette that was attached to the little wire that you would plug into the CD player.
I hated that thing. And then people breaking cars to try and steal those things. I was like, you can have it. I don't like it. It sucks.
I remember one time I had one of those in my car. Portable CD player was plugged into the cigarette lighter. And I went somewhere, so I took it out of the car, went to put it in the trunk, didn't get it all the way in the trunk, shut the car door, shut the trunk on it. Didn't have CD player anymore.
Ouch.
Oh.
So, all right. With that, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks everybody who hung out with us, and we will catch you probably tomorrow.
Good night, kids.